What's up, y'all? This is John from the One Carolina Show. John Farmer from the One Carolina Show. Give yourselves a hand tonight if you are here with me. I appreciate you being here. Got a couple of faithful One Carolina members in the house tonight. Steve 074, my man Anthony Gibson, George Rayner, Slick Vic. Shout out to y'all, man. And I know more people will be pouring in as we go along. As normal, usually I go live on Mondays, sometimes on Thursdays. This is one of those sometimes. Going to be starting a new segment on the show. That segment is going to be called Ball Don't Lie, right? So, look, men lie, women lie, the numbers never do, right? So, you know, we can look at PFF stuff, but nothing is more important than the tape, right? And I'm sure you guys would all agree. So, before we get started, let's make sure to shout out our channel members. I know we got a few that I don't have listed on here yet. And we will get to you definitely on Mint Street Monday special edition, where we will be streaming live during the Panthers 49ers game. So shout out to Geraldine Cook, Nicole S., Richard Bowman, King Sun 1, C3 Doug, my man J Issue, Will _ Robinson 843, King Jermaine JP, the First Shepherd. And I know someone else was on there, Miss Douglas has become a member as well. So shout out to Miss Douglas. Shout out to all you guys, all you members. If you want to become a member of the One Carolina Show, make sure to hit the join button. You can join for $1.99 per month. All right. Now, I ain't really got to explain. If you know, you know, right? This brother is one of the most knowledgeable people I think exist on the YouTube platform, regardless of, team, regardless of affiliation or whatever, right? I watch this guy to get all of my film knowledge, right? Because I'm a knucklehead. I don't know a lot, but I want to know more, right? So I'm going to bring my man on the channel. Y'all know him affectionately as The Real Ball Watcher. My man, what is going on? Welcome to the show.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you having me.
Yes,
Shout out
sir.
to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody watching. Boy, your intro game is strong. I'll tell you that. The intro game is strong, man.
Man, I appreciate
Joe
it.
Butt.
Yes, sir.
Y'all two up.
Man, I appreciate it, dog. So look, man, we ain't gonna waste a lot of time. We're gonna get to it, but I want to just start from the beginning, right? Bryce Young, a lot of up and down this year. I want to ask you your thoughts on, look, I know you. I don't want to call you a Bryce Young truther. I think we have one thing that I love about what just happened last week is that just like the Bible talks about separating the wheat from the tares, you know what I'm saying? We have literally separated the real from everybody else, right? So I have spent so much time on this platform, supporting Bryce Young. I'm beyond that now. You know what I'm saying? It don't even need to be that no more. Now it just need to be okay, you know the real. You know he's a franchise guy, right? The franchise of franchise guys for the Carolina Panthers literally just stamped him, you know what I'm saying, over the last 24 hours. Not just in the nodding his head watching Bryce dab, but also saying yo, franchise guy, right? He can see it. If anybody would know it, he does, right? So that being said, I'm not doing none of that. But I do want to do this. Up until this game, the biggest issue has been passing yards. Now, we've seen Bryce Young bail Carolina out of some stuff, right? The Cardinal game, we want to blame a lot. Obviously, the turnovers on him. You can make an argument about the pressures, right? Now, the turnovers in the Dolphin game, that was obviously on him. But the point is that he always found a way to bring himself back. Do you have a problem with anything you've seen before this game? And you can be honest, this game against the
Falcons. Okay, so that's a loaded question. I did have an issue with some things and not so much with others. Okay. I think we're kind of, as the season, it's a long season. So as the season goes along, you kind of forget things. And I think a lot of Panthers fans have forgot that there was a point in the season, maybe a 3-4 game stretch, where the wide receivers were T-Mac, Bryson Tremaine, Hunter Renfrow, and nobody else on the active roster. I went to Boston for that Patriots game. David Moore got hurt, and we had 3 active receivers the whole time. So the passing yards didn't scare me as much. And up until, I want to say, up until that Saints game, I didn't have an issue with anything until then.
Okay.
That's when I kind of saw that old Bryce Young creep back, because I talk about it on my channel a lot, where there's bad games, then there's rookie Bryce Young bad. Rookie Bryce Young bad, that's a different type of. It's okay, this is the rookie Bryce Young and the first 2 of last year. this guy doesn't look like he's really fit for the moment. And when he had bad games this year, they were just regular QB bad games. But that Saints game, that's where I'm like, all right, man, he's not even pulling the trigger. That's when it gets scary. But other than that, I mean, I've been cool. I've just been going with it. You know, what do you say? Stay with me.
Yep.
I've been staying with it, you know, trying to see it through, trying to look at the film, see what I can see from there. But it really was just the Saints game where I was like, all right, we having some issues now.
Yeah, yeah. And I think, so actually, real quick, someone just said something in the chat. I want to make sure that this is not an issue so that we can run smoothly. If y'all can hear me okay, just type a 1 in the chat. I know you can hear Real Ball Watcher okay, but I just want to make sure y'all are hearing me okay. Someone said that they think my mic is off. I know I the last time. Man, let me tell you. So I started a Monday show. Man, and it was like right after we lost to the Saints, and I went like on this whole dialogue. Because like sometimes I'll just, like when I'm going live, I don't really pay attention to the chat in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? And I just be talking, and the whole time everybody was like laughing. Somebody had to call me and be like, dog, you are muted. Like, oh my God.
Nah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
sure.
it was nuts. But I'm gonna keep going anyway. But so I saw something, and I'm gonna tie 2 things together simultaneously because I had a bit of a debate with my co-host Brad, right? And okay, they said I'm good, cool. My co-host Brad said something. I mentioned something that you had said about something that Xavier Legette has done, and we're gonna tie this and Bryce's big day together. But we're gonna look at a clip of something that you said on one of your last videos. And I want to ask you, because Brad was like, I don't know, I don't see it the same. But I want to see what you saw here. So I'm going to pull this up real quick. So this clip is you mentioning the Xavier Legette hand fight, right? And I think this is important. I think this is very important because I'm going to be honest with you, I hope Brad watching, he probably going to comment. Because I want to prove him wrong. Because Brad was trying to argue me down about this. And I was like, nah, my dog said this. He's like, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, no, it didn't happen that way. I'm like, nah, okay, so we're going to see then. All right, so check it out.
Ability, it's more about the willingness to take shots and calling the shots. And this is what I mean right here. In this play right here, we're going to get all our pressure. Bryce Young is going to step up in the pocket, make a guy miss, step up in the pocket, throw it as he's getting hit. Pretty good throw. Now, Xavier Legette, let's talk about this play right here. Could the throw have been better? Yes. It's not a perfect throw. Of course, it could have been better, but it's a decent throw to me. Now, Xavier Legette, here's my issue with him. He beats the guy over top. All you have to do is once you get on top of him is stack him. For some reason, he has the man beat, and he's reaching backwards trying to hand fight with him and to get a push off to go get this ball. Instead of you're on top of him, you stacked him, run under the ball.
Okay. I want to tell you what Brad's pushback to that was, right? His pushback was, man, the dude was holding him. I don't see that.
Yeah, facts.
I don't see that.
And it's funny because I thought the same thing. When it happened that Sunday, and it kind of shows the end of the replay, and you just see his arm back and the other guy's arm is on him. I thought, okay, I can't be mad at X because some people were mad at X because he went up with one hand. I'm like, yeah, I can't be mad. He's holding his arm down, but then when you watch the tape, you see, oh, XL was the one who initiated that contact. So that's what makes it go out the window. It's like, even if he did hold, which I didn't see it that way either, but even if he was holding him, you initiated that contact, you just got to stack and go. Run through that route.
They said my audio was echoing.
It might be me. Hold on.
It's like echo, like an empty room. It's good, but sounds weird. I don't know. Give me 1 second. Let me just let's see. Oh, I know why. Goodness gracious. Give me 1 second. How about now, guys? I'm sure you probably hear me loud and clear now.
Yeah,
that sound different to you? Okay, cool. Yeah.
For sure.
So I had my mic, or excuse me, I had to take my computer to work to build out my show, right? How I wanted to do it, which is why I got with you as late as I did, because I wanted to look like now they hitting the like button like crazy.
Yeah. You bet.
They're like, that's the John we know. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so back to it. So you talked about it. You said, now I want to play the clip, right? Because now you have the clip of him catching the touchdown and it looks entirely different. So
Facts.
we'll scroll forward a little bit. I know it's a little hard to see, but as you can see there is that one little, and you mentioned this on your video. There's that one little, let me push back just a little bit. Yep. But look, now I do want to ask one question in fairness. Is it possible that on that play from before, now I'm going to mute your vocals, but I want to give me 1 second. Okay, so I'm going to mute you talking, but I want to just play this one more time, right? Is it possible that maybe he wasn't, it feels like maybe he felt like he had to slow down a little bit because of the ball, right? And the ball wasn't getting to him in time maybe, or maybe because of how Bryce threw it, like the way he kind of stepped up, ran up, and then kind of, tossed it to evade the pressure. Do you think that maybe he was slowing up a little bit because of that?
I thought the same thing, and I'm not even entirely sure if it's I can't give a full answer on that, but I thought that to myself, okay, what would make him do that? And it was two things that popped in my head. One, he's either not confident that Bryce can get it there. I didn't think that was the case. Two, the way that the ball came out, because he got hit, it might have been a float. We know Bryce throws floaters, so it might have been very hard to track or hard to see how it would get there, and what position it would get there to. Because we know sometimes XL has a little issue tracking here and there.
Yep.
And I think that's probably most likely, if it was a reason for him to do that, that's why. Because he's probably trying to find the ball. He's like, all right, this guy's still in my airspace. I'm trying to find the ball, track it, which way is it going to land? And that's what forced him to kind of push him off so he could still keep his momentum forward.
And, for a guy his size, I think sometimes we look at what T-Mac can do and his fluidity and look at a guy like XL and think, well, why can't you do that? Because XL is torque, person. You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude is, it's hard to move like that at that size, right? Because what you feel like could happen, and I've seen this. I've seen him do this in college, right? Where he could turn around. Like you said, maybe this was a tracking issue, because I've seen in college a similar play like this where he literally would turn around and kind of high point the ball backwards and fall, right? And it feels like if you are slowing down, you're slowing down for that kind of opportunity for yourself to be able to make a play like that, right? What would you say to that?
I would agree. I think that's what it is. I think he's I think sometimes he's too worried about making the play. Because if you look at it, this is his only target in this game. So when you're not getting the ball or you're not getting the looks as a rookie receiver, T-Mac, who's getting like 8-9 targets a game, and you finally get one, and we see the mess up. He hasn't had too many like true drops this season, but the not getting the second foot in bounds, being out of bounds before he actually caught the ball and stepping back in, those little mental mistakes, I think it kind of weighs on you. It gives you a little bit of pressure. So he's probably overthinking the whole time, like, I got to make this play, or he not going to come back to me. I think that has a lot to do with it also. I mean, we've seen it with Bryce. We've seen it with him last year where he's like, hey, I got to make this play. I'm pressing. We got to get the ball out quick. And it just didn't look good. And then when he came back from the benching, instead of throwing it in 2.6 seconds, he's holding on till 2.9. He got one of the longest times to throw in the league, but now he's making plays because he's not pressing. He's not thinking, overthinking it. He's just making plays. I think Sunday we seen XL, not to jump forward because we're going to get there, but we seen XL make plays versus other times where he's just overthinking it.
Okay. So let's go back to Bryce, because you said something. You mentioned the overthinking portion, right? I had Dunk on the channel last year. Shout out to my man Dunk, right? And when Dunk and I were talking, I was like, man, do you feel like Bryce just kind of has the type of personality? Like, I put it to you like this. Okay, so there was a moment where in the Cowboy game, they got to a place where they could, kind of, Bryce had the big fourth down play to Hunter Renfrow, you know what I'm saying, to move the chains. And then, went to Travis Etienne. You could see him on the sideline mic'd up. He's like, hey, right here, I think we should not score or whatever like that. And Dave Canales is like, of course, yeah, we're not going to score. Like, and he's like, okay. So he runs out there. But the way that he said what he said to Travis Etienne, get down, do not effing score. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could tell it was more like, hey, man, don't get me in trouble. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes it feels like maybe there's a bit of apprehension because of his personality type. And I feel like he kind of is overcoming that just slowly but surely, like the more confidence that he's starting to build. So when you talk about pressing, not making mistakes, things that you talked about in your last video, It's almost like we saw the exact opposite person, and I have a conspiracy theory. I got a conspiracy theory. But I want to hear I'm gonna hear you speak to that first.
That's okay, that's funny because I'm kind of putting the pieces together now.
Okay.
The conclusion you drew, I'm not mad at it.
Okay.
But instead of me thinking of Bryce, it made me think of Dave. And the only reason it made me think of Dave is because we're talking about XL right now. We saw how bad XL struggled at the beginning of the year. I'm not the hugest numbers guy. I'm not the biggest graph guy. I hated math in school, but
could have fooled me.
Had the worst. Yeah, I hated it, but he had the worst yards per route run in the NFL history. I want to say in the first like 6 weeks, he had what I want to say was like 27 targets for 89 yards, something like that.
Yeah.
And no matter what, every time it was brought up, Dave said, "Nah, I believe in this guy. I believe in this guy. We're gonna push through. We're gonna keep running." The leash was not this long with Bryce.
Nope.
Take it back to last year. We're 2 games in, and he pulled that leash very quick. I think Bryce knows that. Or maybe even if he doesn't know that, I think it's something that he does not forget. Because I remember the reports back then that Bryce was pissed. His camp was pissed. There were some reports of maybe his time is over in Carolina. Now, Bryce put his head down, got to work, was still a leader. That's cool. But your camp don't forget. And if your camp don't forget, it's always in the back of your head. Yeah. So I think it's just like he never knows if he's fully with him, because right before he got benched, not to be long-winded, right before he got benched, that Chargers game, I went to it. I was riding home, watching the post-game presser on the way home, and Dave Canales went in there and did the same thing he did for XL. Hey, this is our guy. This is our starting quarterback. We're not making a change. This is our franchise guy. And then Tuesday came, and it was a new starter.
And you know what I think did it? When he saw that swing pass to Adam Thielen that just sailed right in front of him, I think he was, all right, something's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not normal. You know, like this guy's got something, it's something internal, who knows, but, you know, we got to slow him down, you know, and look, in the beginning, I got to be honest with you. I did not like it, right? I don't think anybody liked it because I
don't think anybody did.
Right. You should play through it. But retroactively speaking, I think it was the thing that saved his career, because I think if you continue to let him play through that and he continues to make more mistakes, it would have gotten worse. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
So especially when you consider how he came back and how ferocious he came back, right? You know, the last, weeks 8 through 18. I mean, 17, I believe.
Yeah, it was about 10 game. Yeah, it was about a 10 game
stretch, right? Okay, so that said, 448 yards, 31 of 45 attempts. Bryce got off, right? So here's my conspiracy theory. Okay. So Dave Canales, and I'm going to paraphrase. I know I'm name dropping Dunk again, but I'm going to paraphrase something because I didn't hear this myself, but I heard somebody reference this. So I want to make sure I'm saying it right. And sometimes Dunk be in the QAnon. So if you out there, man, you could, you know, get in the chat and make it right. But he said something to the effect of Dave Canales is kind of a reactionary coach, right? And I thought, I ain't gonna lie, I thought right out the gate in Atlanta that he was gonna come out throwing the ball right out the gate, and it was gonna be deep. He gonna take a play action deep shot right out the gate, right? Because the media would be like, hey, why aren't you doing this, this, and this? And he'd be like, oh, you know, we're just waiting for opportunities, all that kind of stuff. And the next week you'll see it. You know what I'm saying? Like almost like, I mean, you can pretty much just, you know, guarantee it, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like Dave didn't really have a choice as far as how he was calling things up, right? I heard you mention something similar to that. But my conspiracy as to why it looked the way it did, I really believe that Bryce Young's ankle put him in a position where he had no choice but to slide in the pocket, feet be better for these deep shots. And that, I feel like that unlocks something in him that is going to be more consistent moving forward. And I don't think this is the last time we're going to see him do what he just did. I feel like he possibly could go on a tear. Now, here's what I mean, right? So let's go back to your play that I was showing from before. Because when you watch Bryce step up, right? So you'll watch him here. He'll step up in the pocket. Now, granted, the protection breaks down, right? But when he steps up, slides out of the way, steps up, it's kind of like a run up, right?
Yeah.
And instead of replanting my base, I'm kind of running, so the ball may not necessarily get where I want it to go. He did a similar thing when he threw the pick to Minkah Fitzpatrick in the Dolphins game, right? His drop back was kind of a drift. When he steps up, his feet are kind of like clicking together like this.
Yeah,
and he's literally standing like this when he throws the ball, and it sails on exhale on the dig, right?
Yeah.
Now watch this. This is what I found interesting. When you watch this play, the throw to XL, just watch his base. Like, and you can even, it's not just his base. It's also how he like drops back. His drop back even looks different. Foot planted. I saw that exact same foot plant when he uncorked one to Jameson Williams in the SEC championship. And all I could keep asking myself is like, okay, the protection is there. Where's that at? You know what I'm saying? And then you see it and it's like, oh, well, maybe it's because you didn't really have a choice to move up how you normally do. Because that ankle was taped. That ankle's taped up. So you kind of have to play within real quarterback structure. And look at the ball.
Yeah.
Beautiful ball. Now, am I just conspiracied out or what? Like, you could tell me I'm dead wrong on this, right? Because I'm acquiescing to you. But tell me your thoughts on that.
Okay, so you're cooking. Because that's really great attention to detail. You're cooking. And I kind of felt the same to an extent. But I don't want to make excuses on my channel. You know how they talk about me.
Of course. They call me a nut, so I don't care, bro. Like, you can say what you want. Yeah. Like, this, I don't care. Like, look, let me speak frank for a minute, right? Because my boy popping in the building, man. My boy, like, look, hold on. I'm gonna cue it up for you, right? I'm gonna go ahead and cue it up for you because I know my boy Low is in the building, right? I really don't care what you niggas is talking about when it come to me about what I got to say about Bryce Young, because I'm always gonna give it up. So it is what it is. Say what you got to say. You know what time it is with me, right? All right. That being said, let's get to it. You were saying.
So I agree. But I try my best to at least have the evidence for it. So at the time, I'm thinking, all right, bro, they're not throwing the ball, not calling it deep. He's not running. That my biggest thing, and I kind of pointed, this is what I did point out in my video. He's not running. They weren't doing the bootlegs as often. He's not taking off as often as we've seen. I went to that Cardinals game last year. He ain't scared to run. He'll take off.
Right.
And I'm like, it got to be the ankle. It's the reason he's not moving, period. Like, he's not moving outside of the pocket. He's not making plays. We saw how fast he stopped. Matter of fact, I think I did point this out in the video because I pointed out how he stopped on a dime in that Miami game on that fourth down throw to T-Mac. And then I compared and contrasted with the Green Bay game where he kind of kept both hands on it. He took 4 steps to stop and step up. So I think you're right. I just don't have any like concrete evidence to prove it. But I don't disagree. I just need that concrete because, like I said, you know how they is with me. It take one thing about Bryce to, oh, you making excuses. Oh, I'm like, all right, bro. I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna show the tape then.
Right.
So I think you're right though. I do believe that is the case. And like you said, because it's taped up, he can't move. I tweeted it when I was at the game. I was like, hey man, Bryce can't run. Like, he can't move right now.
He can't.
He's still.
Yeah.
He had to stand in there and make the throws.
So you go back to, okay, I had talked about this. Let's just say hypothetically Bryce didn't work, right? I talked about, like, Kurt Warner. If you go watch Kurt Warner's movie, I think it's Courage something another, right?
Yeah, something along those lines.
Yeah, the Kurt Warner movie. There was a moment where he, like, when he got cut from the Packers and he went to the Arena Football League, he had to learn the fact that, hey, when that receiver goes in motion, he's not stopping at the line of scrimmage. Like, he going to keep on running. So as soon as you say hut, man, you got 2 seconds, get the ball out, rip it, right? And he was holding on to the ball for too long. Kurt would have gotten bounced from the league early and often if he had to learn that fact right there in real time, right? Bryce has not had the luxury that even someone like Pat has had, right? To sit back and learn things in real time. I'm old enough to remember him lining up way over here and Miles Sanders having to push him over. You know you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So everything's had to be learned in real time, right? This is another one of those moments where I feel like, because honestly, when I see this drop back, this is not the drift that you normally see, right?
Yeah.
This is more of a Drew Brees style, like a classic drop back, kind of 5, a little bit of 3, one small hitch, after I plant my foot like I'm supposed to and let it rip. You know what I'm saying? Because the protection is there. I don't think that's going away. I think that's going to be a staple because now you can add that. Because here's the thing. You don't want to take away the stuff that he does, that point guard stuff, right? Because we'll pull that up in one of our next clips where he throws the ball to XL, but it was kind of like a little drifting and boom. You know what I'm saying? Like that stuff you don't want to take away. But in order for him to unlock what we saw Sunday, this right here has to be consistent. Like you got to be able to do this kind of stuff consistently.
So here's a question I'll pose. Okay. Because I talked about this on my channel a lot. I talked about it in the last video and the video before. I think they forced him to throw it downfield. And then on this play, I kind of pointed this out on this play. I'm telling you, the call was we're throwing it to XL. There's nothing else.
Let's go back to
we'll talk about it. Yeah, we'll talk about it later in the show.
Okay.
What the defense is showing, and why that's the case. But this is 1-on-1 all the way. This is zone coverage, but this is 1-on-1 all the way. And we'll talk about it later when we talk about the Panthers. But when you give him nothing but deep routes to throw, I think it looks different.
Yeah.
I think he doesn't have to do as much thinking, which I'm not against him doing a lot of thinking because that is his superpower. He does process really good. He finds the solutions to issues with the defense. But when you just take that away and say, Bryce, we throwing this, I think the footwork is always going to look better like he did here.
Right. I couldn't agree more. So, all right, man, I'm done yelling because I've yelled quite a bit. Okay, so just real quick, want to acknowledge the chat. Thank y'all so much for joining us tonight. New segment on the show called Ball.1 featuring the real ball watcher, man. This dude is an absolute genius when it comes to this, man. And so I'm so honored to have him, a part of the show tonight. Y'all make sure to subscribe to him. I will put the link to his channel in our description so you can follow him because, man, I'm telling you, it's an excellent follow. He just told me that he has a Patreon. I am 100% subscribing as soon as we get off just because I can't wait for the college film evals because I need to know what I need to know, right? And this is the guy to know it from. All right. Awesome, man. So, and we got 117 people watching between two platforms, 43 likes. Make sure to smash the like button, subscribe button, and bell notification if you're not a part of the channel already. Okay. Now, let's get to the Niners, man. So, the Niners defense. This defense is not what, I posed this on the thumbnail. This is not the same 49 Niners as I put on the thumbnail by mistake, right? But this is not the same 49ers, right? You think about the 49ers from like 2018 till, just last year or the year before, right?
Yeah, I was say, yeah.
The Steve Wilkes, the D'Amico Ryan Niners, the Robert Saleh, the first time Robert Saleh,
the first
49ers. Yeah. That team, when you rolled up to play them, I got to say this, man. So I got in trouble on my channel Monday because I was live when they said that Michael Penix got hurt, right? And look, Claude and Chairless and let me say what my reaction was to that. So it went live. They was like, "Yo, Michael Penix just got hurt, might be out for the season." This was literally my reaction. You did, and I ain't gonna lie, I got killed. Some of the people in the chat killed me. Right? But I feel like that is starting to become the theme with the Carolina Panthers. And a lot of that centers around a couple of guys. One guy in particular named Nick Scorton. Scorton is a very just strong name. I know his last name used to be Caraway, and he changed it. And I'm like, man, it's fitting because it's like when you play the Carolina Panthers, you gonna know you played us, right? And that's how that Niner team was. But this Niner team, man, 12 sacks in 11 games. I heard that they're literally on pace to have the lowest sack total in the history of the NFL. Like if they finish how they finish right now, no Michael Williams, no Joey Bosa. Bryce Huff leads them with 4 sacks. Through 11 weeks, 25th in pressures, 19th in hurries, 26% pressure rate. That's dead last in the NFL. I feel like we can eat. What say you?
That's probably the most impressive negative stat I've ever heard, considering last year I had to watch that Panthers pass rush. But yeah, man, I think this is a great game. I think this is a maybe not a 450 game, but this should easily be a 220 and up, 2 touchdowns, 2 passing, 3 passing touchdown game. Because this defense is soft. Yeah. To put it simple. I mean, they're not getting no pressure. Even with those guys that were healthy, Michael Williams was probably one of the worst graded pass rushers from the class so far. He wasn't getting as much pressure as you would want from a first round pick. Fred Warner's gone. Who's patrolling the middle of the field? I know what my quarterbacks like to do. He likes to throw over the middle of the field.
Absolutely.
So I think this should be a game where we'll go out and surprise some people. And it's important too, because I think last week was which what word should I use? It was a crucial moment in the history of the Carolina Panthers for this regime, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if we lose that game, who says that Canales has a safe job, like his job security safe?
Mm.
But not only did we go out there and win the game, we won it in the fashion we did, and if we can keep it rolling, I think this game will be that game. It's like, all right, they're making the playoffs after this. If we lose this game, it's not looking good. We're almost guaranteed to be eliminated. But if we win this one, we control our own destiny. We got some tough games ahead, but
Mm-hmm.
we play the team that's only a half game ahead of us in the division twice.
Yeah. And I'll tell you this, man. You talked about it. If you win this game, there's a lot at stake here, right? You're getting to do this. And look, we're the only show in town. This isn't one of those double-headed, Monday nights. You got Peyton and Eli. They'll be watching. You know what I'm saying? Whatever guests they have on. Obviously the 49ers are a big draw. You're going to have all of Panther Nation out there because the game is not home, so it's away. So everybody's going to be locked in, right? This is one of those moments. If he does what he did against the Falcons in this game, number one, let me just say this. For all you would-be, haters, if you will, I'm going to be insufferable on this app and every other, right? Let's just get that out the way.
Facts.
2, it's going to put Carolina in a national story. To me, this feels like the game, Green Bay was our game this year. I talked about this with Captain Munnerlin. Green Bay was our game like his game against San Francisco, right? Back in 2013. They started off 1-3, right? Then they went on a bit of a run. Then they got to San Francisco, and it's like, okay, now, and I mean, it literally was a bloodbath, man. It was just a gridlock defensive game. I think the score ended up being like 10-9, right? But you knew after that game, oh, okay, Carolina's for real. And I think that was the Green Bay game for us because it was a low-scoring game. It was a dogfight, right? And look, that's what it takes, man. That's why I don't trip off of this, only 100 yards here, 100, as long as he can give you what you saw Sunday, which I believe this is a defense you can exploit, and you got so much confidence. But I also love that Dave Canales is like, hey, we got confidence, but we are going to 100% lock in. No victory Monday, even though of all victory Mondays to have one, this should have been the one, right? But no, we're not doing it. We're locking in. Let's get back to it.
It's interesting. You brought up that Packers game. I seen somebody, and you brought up the 2013 game against the Niners. I seen somebody on Twitter. I wish I could remember who it was, dog. Because it was the perfect definition of how that game in Green Bay was, and it was the Panthers have passed the bad team test. And I think that was the perfect analogy. That's what I'm looking for. Not definition, analogy. Bad teams don't go win games like that.
Right.
When the number one team at the NFC at the time, number one team in the NFC, first seed, best record in the conference, when they are giving you the game, bad teams find a way to give it back.
Yes.
Interesting enough, it's funny to say this right after that week, but look at last week against the Saints. They was giving us that game. The sack from Nick Gordon on 4th down, all the penalties. They were the block kick ended up giving us possession back after the kick. The ticky-tack calls on Bryce when it comes to roughing the passer. They were giving us the game. We just couldn't capitalize against it. I won't hold it against us, but that's how bad teams lose those games against good teams. But we actually pulled it out.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So this game will be interesting. I think we know we're not a bad team no more, and it's gonna be time to go show people on the national stage under the lights. We for real, and we're about to go win this game.
Yeah, and I can't wait for that. That's an excellent point. So I'm going to read a super chat real quick that came through from Steve-O. Steve-O said, why not run Jimmy deep? If you're going to decoy him only, Jimmy is the fastest dude. I don't get it. You can't double T-Mac and Jimmy, right? Yeah. So I'm going to show a play. So one of our talking points is going to be that. So Steve-O, appreciate the super chat, man. Okay, so let's get to clip number 1. So I want to pull up something here. So Rico Dowdle and the run offense, man. I think that one thing that doesn't get, and I'm going a little different than what we talked about in our, pregame, show stuff, right? But Rico does something and offers something that I feel like, okay, there was a play the ball doesn't always have to be perfectly thrown to you, like when it's coming from the backfield, like in a swing form or
Yeah.
um, a screen form or whatever like that. And I feel like, man, for the Chuba and Rico conversation, especially when we know what it is right now. Like it's already been established what it's going to
Yeah.
be for now. But I'm talking about moving forward, right? And going into the offseason and into next season.
Mm-hmm.
The Rico's ability not only to catch out of the backfield, but also his vision once he does is such an underrated, asset to this offense, especially when pressure's mounting, right? Now in this case,
Mm-hmm.
I want to see what you think of this. So I'm gonna let this play run. And you tell me if this is something that they kind of had scripted, because it looks like Bryce already kind of predetermined and knew exactly where he was going on this play. But I'm going to start this over and you tell me. So when we start from a formation perspective, like
Mm-hmm.
what is Bryce seeing defensively? It looks like they're maybe in kind of like a 4-3 with a single high, but you
Yeah.
tell me, like, what is he seeing here that you think, man, I'm going to go directly to Rico, as opposed to, especially when they send X in motion, as opposed to maybe, going a little bit more full field read and seeing what I see
Yeah.
and making a different decision.
All right. So this live on the spot, y'all. So y'all gonna see how I see stuff. And I ain't
I
gonna take
love
all the
it.
credit because somebody did kind of point this out on Twitter,
Let's
and it's
go.
helping me, clarify what I'm trying to say. So if I'm Bryce right here, I'm seeing it wearing pistol. I already know that off the rip. One thing that Atlanta did a lot in this game was blitz from the weak side. They tried to
Okay.
get their numbers advantage from the weak side. They were trying to show an even front, so you
Mm-hmm.
don't know where the blitz is coming from, but you blitz from the weak side. So that's why we'll talk about it later. I think that's why Rico was able to call his shot on that screenplay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to divulge too much into it, but if you see from here, I want to say there's Caden Ellis over there, and whoever that safety is dropping, it's probably Xavier Watts. They're going to blitz. So Bryce automatically knows they're blitzing from the weak. Once again, there's going to be one-on-one coverage from this safety or kind of nickel defender, this star defender right there that's pointing at the motion.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be one-on-one manned up with Rico Dowdle. Bryce knows automatically blitz from the weak side, as you can see those two go, or it's just Caden Ellis that goes because of the motion. We're going to dump this out. Rico, you gonna make a move. Now, it wasn't designed this way, but this is what I was kind of referencing earlier.
Mm-hmm.
When I said you don't want to take away Bryce thinking too much because he thinks you out of issues like this. And that's exactly what he did. He knows, all right, they've been showing even this whole time. This motioned over. If I see this blitz, I'm immediately going there. And that's exactly what he did.
So when you talk about that and compare that to a defense that's 29th in pressures, I feel like that can be. Do you think that this will, like, when you talk about like him thinking out the position, right, and thinking out the what you're seeing on defense and all that kind of stuff? Do you think that this will give him, like, Dave an opportunity to say, hey, let me open up things a little bit more in the playbook? Or do you feel like Dave is kind of giving him the full menu, and maybe what the open playbook is what Steve-O was talking about, where maybe we go a different direction with the ball as opposed to just the swing out? Like, do you think the playbook is kind of already open and maybe they just make decisions on who it's going to, like from a personnel perspective, or do they give him full autonomy at the line of scrimmage?
I think it's a mixture of both.
Okay.
I think whenever hearing from other NFL players talking things like that, you kind of have two plays going into the huddle. So when you get to the line, all right, I'm seeing this look. Hey, can that play? We're going to go to the next. But then off of that, now Bryce has full autonomy to who's going to be my primary read on this. Like, the receivers won't necessarily know, but he's going to know, all right, we came out in this look. We might have whatever inside zone. Oh, it's kind of a stacked box. It looks like they're going to be blitzing. I can get something quick. We're going to can this, go to the next play. And based off of the safety alignment, whatever rotations they make, then Bryce is going to say, all right, hey, I know I got T-Mac on this bender. We're going to go there immediately. I'm going to hold the safety with my eyes, hit that. Like on this play, if you look at the play as we're running it, the first thing he does is he holds that safety. He holds the full defense. He doesn't look immediately towards Rico. He's staring the safety down the middle of the field. He right down that hash line, head moves. When a quarterback head moves and the ball goes up immediately, you already knew where he was going before the ball snapped.
Right.
That's a premeditated read. And that's what happens at that line.
And that's the thing that I think is fascinating, because a similar play, now granted, the ball was thrown a little bit behind him, but it was because of how the play was structured. I don't have it pulled, but it was the one where Chuba Hubbard literally like dropped the ball, and the corner literally could have picked it up. It'd have been a house call. You know what I'm saying? Like immediately.
Yeah.
Right?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And that could have really changed the scope of this game. But even this one, when you watch like Rico Dowdle, like, I mean, he kind of had to stretch out for this one a little bit. So it's like, it's just the instinct. And then boom, I'm immediately on the run. You know what I'm saying? Knowing exactly where I'm going, what's going on. Right. So I just feel like the answers for who's going to be RB 1, 2, 3, whatever, moving forward, I mean, it's kind of answering itself, you know, going into the next year. But I feel like this is one of those matchups, especially with you talked about it. There's no Fred Warner on that defense. You know what I'm saying? There's no Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa. Because Nick Bosa can literally like set the edge, or Nick Bosa can show pressure and still be able to turn around and run, you know what I'm saying, and been able and make that play. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like that's a like underrated portion of this offense that they can really, this defense that they can exploit going into next week. And you might actually see a lot of that. Maybe they'll open up, because something that I don't see a lot, and I'll ask you this question: why don't we see a lot of screen passes?
Oh, I've been trying to figure that out. So here's the thing: they have developed the screen pass or the screen game early in the year. It was trash. I think it was very hard for our running backs and linemen to get in sync on the move, hold that block long enough to where Bryce has a window to throw it, and also for the beginning of the year it was Chuba to catch the ball,
right,
and know where to go. So they changed the screen game to make it look like outside zone. And on that tight end leak, you might want to pull this one up. This might be one of the.
I know what
finally
you got to
put. The tight end leak to Mitch Evans. It was off a play fake out of, I want to say, pistol. Off the play fake, the entire line shifts. That's been our screen game with Rico Dowdle. But there hasn't been much outside of that. So it's interesting enough. I think there's a lack of trust, one, with when Chuba's in there with his hands, and then two, there's a lack of trust with how many offensive line combinations we had in the timing of a screen, because screens is really just a timing play.
Right.
It's not necessarily a, hey, are we going to be faster than you? Are we going to out-gap you? Are we going to be stronger than you? It's really just the timing of catching the defense to make them think that this is a regular rush and they won on their rush, and also being able to throw it over those guys and get your guys in front of you before they get too far downfield, and it's a penalty. It's a very complicated play. To say. Right. It looks easier when other teams do it, but we make everything look hard. But it is a hard play to do if you don't have continuity.
Right, absolutely. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this clip really quick, because you had mentioned this one. So I believe this is the tight end leak, right? All right.
Yes.
So give us what we got here. Go ahead.
The difference with these, we're coming out in I formation. We're coming out in single back formation, not I formation. We're going to make it look like Y zone. Y zone is basically just zone blocking. Everybody get that outside shoulder of your man, and we're going to create a crease somewhere. There's not a specific hole that you hit in wide zone. You're just looking for the hole, and then you cut it back and hit it. As we let this play run, watch the offensive line. Everybody's zone blocking towards that sideline.
Toward that one side,
line.
The entire,
everybody's zone blocking. So you see how far the linebackers go. They think this is a run play, but when they finally realize it's not, you see there's no one around Bryce. As we can let it run from this angle too. This will be pretty good. When everybody notices that, hey, this is not going to be a run play. Let's look at the ball. There's no one around Bryce. So what do? They're going to retreat back towards him. Look at it. It's nobody around him.
Nobody.
Once they retreat back, our screen plays have been, now we're going to dump it right back to Rico, and now you have a full convoy in front of him. That's what our best screenplay has been.
I like that. And I also think that play. Do you think that it kind of takes a little bit of gumption to actually make that play if you're Bryce Young? Like, because it seems like the easier read to make in that moment would be the dump off of the screen, right? That's kind of more of a young quarterback decision, right? But someone who's a little bit more confident, a little bit more seasoned, takes the chance and makes that throw. Because unless you slide protection, in Madden, like you call a screen like that, and you don't, if you don't slide the protection, you getting blew up. Like if you try to make any other throw than that screen right there, you getting hammered. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think that plays like that, that's another play where you can exploit a defense that doesn't rush, that doesn't pressure, not just, finish and close on sacks, but doesn't pressure the quarterback a lot, right? And so I'll ask you one quick question as far as personnel before we go. I'm going to go to a couple of super chats. But do you think, like, and I'm not sure because I haven't really looked at the injuries and the inactives for this week and all that kind of stuff. And I apologize, I haven't done that. But like Chandler Zavala, man, it was bad. There were moments where it was good, you know what I'm saying? But then there was a lot of moments it was bad, right? Like, Corbett's natural position is the guard. Like, what? Like, am I missing something? Was he like injured that I just didn't know about, or like, what's the deal?
So the thing with Corbett is, since we've moved towards Rico, a lot of our blocking schemes when it comes to the run game is gap blocking. So we're going to be moving guys a lot. You need guys to be athletic. Talking about the timing in the screen game, you need guys to be on time when they pull. With Corbett having so many injuries, it's kind of nuked his athleticism. So I think they kind of want to go with the more athletic play. I mean, if you look at our offensive linemen, outside of Taylor Moton, everybody's was this fantastic athlete coming out of college. We all know the famous Robert Hunt play where he picked up the ball in Miami and got flipped over for the touchdown. He's an athlete. Damian Lewis, he's an athlete. Akeem Ekwonu was one of the most athletic tackles coming into the draft. So you get those guys that's very athletic and you get them on the run, it just creates wide open gaps. Corbett, he's older. He has, I want to say, 3 ACL injuries, an MCL injury. I just don't think the athleticism is there, so they don't trust him. I mean, that Saints game, we were getting destroyed in the run. Guess who was starting? Austin Corbett.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it is. I think they don't. A lot of teams, and it's not just our team. I know somebody will say this. A lot of teams premeditate their offense based off how effective can we be in the run game. Because if you have a good run game, it's going to open up that pass game. It's funny enough, I was watching a Brett Coleman, if you guys don't know who that is.
He's great. Yeah.
Great film guy. He was talking about the difference between college quarterbacks translating to the NFL, the hashes, RPOs, things like that. And he talked about, hey, if they're so good in shotgun, they're not good under center, why don't we just call every play from shotgun? And he talked about how offenses only care about how good they can be in the run game before the pass. So I think that was a decision of, hey, we struggled in the run game last week. Austin Corbett got bullied around. He probably didn't pull as well because I can't remember off the top of my head. We're going to put a more athletic, younger guy in Zavala in there who played good against Green Bay. And our run game was pretty good against Green Bay. So
sure was.
I think that's really what it was.
Do you think that they'll be, I mean, because Brock Purdy's back now, you know, and granted, it was a solid game from him last week. One thing I love, man, freaking Jacoby Brissett, 47 of 57 attempts? It was insane, man. You know what I'm saying? So do you think Dave sees that and thinks like, okay, I'm going to start out with a little bit of Rico. And if Rico start playing bully ball, then we're going to run the ball like crazy and we're going to let him get off. But in my back pocket, I might let Bryce Young Ginsu this defense to pieces. Like, I'm talking like,
facts. I think it's so hard because I feel like Dave Canales is so wishy-washy. Not a dig at him or anything, but one day you're like, hey, I remember at the beginning of the season he was talking about how Bryce Young's last 10 games, it gave him the confidence to call the sexy plays early. Let's get the plays that you kind of save in your back pocket. Is it a good time to call it? Nah, we have the confidence as quarterback to do that. Then you get Rico going and the run going, and he's like, hey, we got to feed Rico. But then it was to the detriment of the pass game because we're like, hey, we can lean on the run. We don't have to throw the ball. I think we've seen that a lot in that Packers game. Even though it was the win in the ankle, we've seen it in that Jets game. It was like, hey, we don't have to throw the ball. We can just run it and win this game. We're going to play safe. We're going to play to win, or we're going to play not to lose. But now you see him come out and how aggressive he was against Atlanta. It feels like last year. Whereas I'm going to come out and let this guy hoop. And I think our offense looks the best. And some people say, oh, it's only because I like Bryce Young. I don't care. The offense looks the best when you throw the ball aggressively like that.
100%. 100%.
Much more explosive. We had some explosive from Rico in that Dallas game, Miami game, but the most explosive plays was from the quarterback throwing the ball.
Yeah. Hey,
and gotta go let him be him.
Like I said, any arrow, like, look, from this point forward, if the arrow shoot at you, direct them to me. Because you make a lot of caveats. Look, bro, I told you what time it is with me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, direct them arrows at me because I give it up. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
If I'm gonna do this off of injury, I'm gonna give it up.
For sure. That's what I need to do. I need to stop. I think I'm so worried about being or coming off as unbiased and even killed of, hey, he's not going to show any bias. He's not going to make up a lie on a play. I just got to say, hey, bump it, bro. If you see what you saw.
You
if
see
you
it.
don't believe me, that's on you.
That's on you. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's on you.
For sure.
Hey, don't let your hate make you start. Look, the hate can literally get so vicious for you that you can start looking like a bandwagon. When it really get to popping, you can really start looking meowish out here. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like,
yeah,
you can really start looking meowish out here, right? Anyway,
that's fact. They better than me. I would have came back.
Man,
bro,
what you talking about, man? Man, you can't. I told you can't pay for that kind of promotion. The problem is though, is like this. Like, okay, let me just go off on this. 2 seconds, and then we get right back to it. And I hope they watching too. I hope y'all watching. Like, because I ain't gonna lie, I be shooting at them niggas, bro. Like, hey, I hope y'all watching. But straight up, man, when you get a promo like that, one that you can't pay for, if I'm a player, I'm more on the sensitive side. I'm gonna come out and be like, hey man, look, we was just a little like upset like everybody else, but shot back open. You know what I'm saying? And of course, you're gonna have a few detractors out there that's like, nah, man, but not nearly as much as when y'all, start, hey, look, it's 3-0, and now you got people like Barstool and all these others that keep making graphics like, yo, they winning since Meow Mix quit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, man, and then when they say they coming back, they start getting like, and it was a lot of people supporting them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was some hate, but there was some people supporting them. But it was just so heavy that they was just like, we decided when the players start saying what they saying, well, we decided not to, hey, look, let me tell you, I had Hype Man Lucci on my neck. Like when I was talking about Brian Burns. I'm like, if it's real in the field, pull up, man. We can see what we can be all you can be in the Army, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, facts.
Be all you can be in the Army. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's really real in the field. You know what I'm saying? But it's just all it is words, dog. Like because it was kind of on some stuff like, hey man, my brother never talked to you. Hey bro, I don't need your brother to talk to me to talk about him. What are you talking about? You heard? You know what I'm saying? Like, look, and I ain't even saying nothing malicious. I was just being like, hey, bro, struggle against the run. But he be going around looking for people to get into it with. I'm like, look, I'm not one of them. Like, I'm not gonna run from that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So nah. All right, let me read some of these super chats, man. So Steve-O said, I feel like Chuba and Rico gonna put up 250 together Monday night. Need to do I formation. Rico be calling his own plays. Steve-O also said, playoffs all about peaking at the right time. Agreed. My man Joe Clarity said, Dave can commit to the pass if it's bad early on. Can Dave commit to the pass if it's bad early on? Honestly, based on what you just mentioned, I think he's going to come out aggressive early on. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it ain't going to take too long to get it done. Let me see. There was one more here. Jarrell Mason, shout out to you, said, folks better buy Panther stock now, because we're coming, and I think the national narrative will change for us after Monday Night Football if we beat San Fran. Couldn't agree more. Yeah, could not agree more. And then, man, that man Steve-O, he paying the rent up here tonight, bro. Yeah, I know, right? I said Bryce gonna get some get back on Noya soon. I think so too. Man, you talking about what a game to lose. My goodness. But all right, let's get back to it. Okay, so. Next clip, man. Wanted to show this. So this one is, I think this might be the same one. Hang on. Yeah, that is.
I say, I think the same one.
Yeah, the same one. Okay. So let me just make sure I'm looking at the right one here. Let's see. Okay. This was something that you mentioned on your show. And I think this is I saw Josh Norris posted this on X, and he talked about the percentage of snaps that T-Mac took in the slot, right? There was also, I can't remember this X account season or something like that. Like back in, during draft evals, he was saying something about like, I'm not drafting a big time, a big slot receiver.
CLT.
Yeah, CLT. Yeah. Somebody drafting a big slot. Yeah. Hey, he was getting fried up too, even back then. Right. But I do think that they found something here, because this was happening in college, right? The last time when you and I talked and we done the mock draft, which by the way, the Jimmy Horn thing, check the books. You know what I'm saying? Because me and Real Ball Watcher was on the Jimmy Horn train, and they did it. We was also on the Tet train, and they did it. I
forgot about that.
Man, haters, catch up. All right. But this thing with T-Mac in the slot, even if, just like with Jimmy Horn that we'll talk about in a second, even if he's not the primary target, it's the mismatch that is insane. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So on here, XL's the target, that drift throw that we were talking about from Bryce Young. But tell me what you see here and how they can exploit that matchup moving forward.
So it's funny because Dave had, I don't know if you watched that presser Dave did on, I want to say Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And I tweeted, I said, yo, this is the best presser I've ever seen Dave done because he actually talked football. He talked about putting him in the slot and getting him much easier looks, but not only that, opening it up for everyone else.
Yeah.
When you put him in the slot, he's matched up against a linebacker like here. This linebacker carries him up the seam, but then your safety is going to have to go help. Now you're leaving a lot of your other players with one-on-ones. If you look at this, XL has a one-on-one with that slot. I want to say it's Billy Bowman. Now Coker's going to have a one-on-one with that outside corner. Then you're going to have a one-on-one with Rico outside, even though you ain't throwing it to Rico on one-on-one against AJ Terrell. But yeah, we ain't doing that.
Right.
But it gives the other guys opportunities to eat. And that's what he was saying when they came to XL. He was like, hey, I know that they're going to try to shadow AJ Terrell with T-Mac. And that's going to open up things for everybody else. I covered it on that. And apologize if I jumping too far ahead.
No, go ahead, man. Go. We rolling. Yeah.
I covered it on that touchdown. If you might want to pull it up too. I covered it on that touchdown to T-Mac. The first one. But actually both of them was out of the slot.
Was this
hilarious?
Was this the one in the red zone or was this the
the first one in the first quarter. So
tell me if that was this
looking
one.
at that. Let me see.
Give me 1 second. Is that this one? No, this one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So when you're looking at this, pause it right there. When you're looking at that, it's AJ Terrell's right there. He's manned up. This T-Mac 1-on-1. They've been following him the whole game and shifting defense away from AJ Terrell. Mm-hmm. Now, he was getting fried, so they should have made an adjustment. It didn't matter. But just to give T-Mac an easier look, you put him in the slot by motioning Jimmy over, and as you let it run, pause it right before the snap when you let it run too. Right there. Now look who his matchup is. Jimmy is with AJ Terrell.
Yep.
Now you got Jesse Bates about 12 yards of depth on T-Mac. That's a mismatch.
Ooh, let's rewind that back because my goodness.
And as we saw the result of this play, easy touchdown.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Just putting them in the slot to give them better matchups, whether it's especially against Atlanta. I talked about this the first game, and they did it a little bit, but not as much. I like Billy Bowman, which is their nickel cornerback / safety coming into the draft. But Billy Bowman is 5'8", and he has 28-inch arms. He had a 27 or 29% missed tackle rate in college, which means he missed about 3 tackles on 10 attempts. Terrible tackler because his arms are so short. Guess how tall T-Mac is? He's 6'5".
Yeah.
I wanted them to put him in the slot, isolate him against Billy Bowman, and you could just throw it up to him at that point.
Yep.
They kind of went away with it. They took Billy Bowman off the field, but now you're putting your deep safeties on him, and you're giving them way too much cushion.
You know, I had pulled this clip to talk about Horn because the sheer threat of Jimmy, you know, motioning, and you know what he can do in open space. Fact. It makes you respect him. You can tell when Jimmy, like, look, you knew what, like you talked about this earlier. Bryce knew where it was going. Look at Jimmy. I mean, he runs a little bit, but it's like, you know, that ball ain't coming to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, I'm just kind of like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? If Bryce make a move, I'm available to kind of start moving around with him if I need to. But I knew the whole time that wasn't coming to me because you talked about it. This was a matchup situation. This was, let me get AJ Terrell out the way, and now it's me and Lil Man. You know what I'm saying? Because on that play to XL, Lil Man had rolled up into the box, and it was him up there as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I feel like it really doesn't matter from a safety perspective, short of, I mean, you got to throw some names out there. Emin Worry, you know what I'm saying? And we got him too. He coming up. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't a whole lot that you gonna throw at T-Mac in a situation like, the matchup. Like, so I feel like this is one of those plays that you might see in different formations with different, maybe next time the motion could be Coker. You know what I'm saying? Like, just to kind of throw things off a little bit. Like, I think you can see this a lot.
Yeah. And the thing is, I think Dave knows this, but all of our receivers are supersized. I mean, XL, he's the shortest one. He's 6'1". I want to say Coker is 6'2" or 6'3". So I think it took a minute. Bryson Tremaine is about 6'4" also. I think it took a minute to get here. Yeah, facts. Facts. Shout out my guy. Excuse me. I think it took a minute to get here because he believed so much in Coker being able to do this, XL being able to do this, and not as confident with them being outside X receivers taking on the one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
But finally, you put your guys in better situations, like a T-Mac, and they explode 130, 8 catches, 2 touchdowns. That's much better than and he was playing good before we start moving him in the slot. He
Yeah.
was playing good before. He's getting you about 60, 70 yards a game. Sometimes he'll break off for a 90, 100-yard game. But 8 for 130 and 2 touchdowns, you're not going to touch that production. So I pray actually, we keep this as a trend, because it's unfair, to be honest. It's unfair to be that as big as he is, being able to play into this size against smaller guys, as quick and smooth as he is.
Yes.
Because you're fast and smooth, oily hip safeties, that's going to be your outside guys. The guys that's inside, those are your burly run defenders. Those are your linebackers. Those are your smaller Billy Bowman guys that are kind of tough nosed, a lot of heart. It's not going to be your actual corners.
Doing
so we going to see how it looks.
Yeah, for context sake, we don't get to see this personally. I think we would have been as excited. And I'll be honest with you. On some level, I'm kind of glad we didn't, because the anticipation that was built up about T-Mac within the space was limited to like one play that was made in the Cleveland game in the preseason. We didn't get to see a lot of what we normally would see in camp, because we couldn't be, we weren't available to be there. But like you talked about it, some of those safeties, I bet in camp, this dude, like maybe it took some time for it to get going, and him and Corey Thornton had some battles, which, by the way, that's another thing I want to mention too, just sidebar. So I'll pin that for just 2 seconds. I bet in camp, man, he was giving these dudes, like Morig, he was probably giving him the business, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my
he was
gosh.
probably cooking him.
Yes. Because you had, man, you had that one clip. I ain't gonna say what you said, but bro, you went viral with that one clip in the precinct. You was like,
yeah.
Against the Texans.
Yeah.
My gosh,
that was on Stingley.
Yes.
So imagine the guys we got. Man, he was probably, it was free eats out there.
Yeah, easy.
That's it was free eats, because Jordan Schultz, national reporter, reported from on the Panthers camp, talking about T-Mac has been more than advertised. Man, they didn't do none of that for Bryce, none of that for XL. I don't remember no rookie getting that type of national love to a closed training camp. So that lets you know what it was. That lets you know.
Absolutely. So it's no surprise. 6th in receiving yards, I believe, 6th or 7th. 6, 7. Something like that. But and what, number 1 leading rookies at this point? What Emeka Egbuka was at one point, but now Tedero McMillan,
he jumped him.
Jumped him, and I think that's going to continue. Man, I'll be honest, that match, I cannot wait for those Tampa games. I can't wait for those Tampa games, man. Because
I think those going to be movies for real. If we can keep the heat that we had this game, even if it's not the full, if it's 80% of the heat, man, that's gonna be. They're gonna have to flex that Week 18 game.
Oh yeah,
they gonna have to flex that game, because that's gonna be for the division.
100%. And not only will they flex, I think if Bryce is continuing in this same path that we see right now, because it is TBD, that one and the Seattle game for that matter. I feel like they might flex it to Sunday night. They really might. Like Sunday or Monday night, right? Because, I mean, look, they did that for us one time before against the Saints one time. Like
they did. I do remember that.
Some years back, on a Sunday night, That was a 1 o'clock kick to begin with. But, so I want to, let's see, somebody had said something. I can't remember here. Shout out to my boy Twine, man. Appreciate you showing up, and my moderator, Willie Smith. And then Chris said doing a motion RPO with T-Mac in the slot. Knowing the defense will be in zone coverage is like cheating.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
But I was just real quick, before we get back to what we're talking about, I was talking about Corey Thornton. Corey Thornton, to me, presents a very interesting dynamic. I saw him playing nickel last week, right? And I saw that in the preseason as well. Kind of in that rotation between him and Shao Smith-Wade, like it was for Lathan Ransom and Shao.
Yeah.
What do you make of that?
I think it is. This guy is so good. We just got to get him on the field. Because I did a lot of stuff. I missed my old account. I wish I had those tapes.
Yeah.
I did a lot of cut-ups on guys in the preseason that we might not see a lot of in the regular season for this reason. So when they do pop up, we can go back and see, oh, he been doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Thornton was one of the main guys that was going crazy, but he was going crazy as a boundary guy. He looks much better as a boundary corner playing outside than he does in the nickel. And he's still pretty good in the nickel.
Yeah.
So I think this is just because I think it was the final game or the final game of the preseason that they finally moved him in the nickel. It wasn't any injury. It wasn't any, hey, this guy didn't dress. It was clearly a, hey, we just got to get this guy on the field. Can he do this?
Yep. So, I mean, who do you think he moves out of the way? Do you think he takes that Lathan spot, or do you think, and they continue in that way? Or do you think that, maybe eventually he's kind of the succession plan to Mike Jack?
So here's the thing about this team, dog. Like, I think of this team in a future sense. I'm always looking at the cap. I'm always looking at, y'all see me on X. I'm always talking about prospects.
Yeah.
Mock drafts, even if we win it, I don't care. I'm talking about them prospects. I need to see who we can add. If my team's doing good, perfect. Now I'm gonna see who we can add to make my team even better.
Yeah,
that's the way I look. And Mike Jackson is one of those guys where he got 1 year left on his contract. It wouldn't open up too much money, but it would free up some money if he cuts him. I think Dave is just too good of a guy. I think Dave, Dan, all of those, they care a lot about culture, which I get, I respect, because you do got to build a culture and you do got to have a good locker room, especially for a player-led team. But I think he's easily the successor for Mike Jackson. I don't know if it'll be next year because he does have 1 year on his contract, and I don't know if they have the cojones to cut him, or if it'll be the year after that. But eventually he's taking Mike's spot.
Yeah. I think the same thing. Shout out to Steve O spending the rent money. Dan Morgan for best GM, every free agent and draft pick this year has produced. Dan and Dave are cooking. Can't wait to see what we look like in 2026. I saw that same thing, man. We were talking about, hey, I'm going to tell you, man, like with what, especially with these players that still, I always reference this because Captain Munderland gave so many gems whenever he came on the show and we talked. Like, he talked about the difference between like your first season as a rookie and that next season, and guys in their preparedness. Like, some of these guys, like a guy like Nick Scorton, he's going to prepare. I mean, to go from the size that he was at A&M down back to the, more the Purdue, size of 250-ish or whatever like that. That's like a testament to the kind of work ethic that he has. And I feel like that'll continue even more when you don't have to worry about all the pre-draft stuff and, getting ready and you're settled and you got a home and, all this other kind of stuff where you can just focus on ball. So you take that into account, and I'll say something that I'll talk about more in the offseason because I'm sure you and I will link on some kind of, mock draft stuff. But like, man, look, I don't know how you feel about Arvell Reese, but I'm old enough to remember the Houston Texans moving up to get Will Anderson. I mean, look, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
I love Reese. Yeah, I love Reese, dog. I love Reese. Moving up, that's where it gets me. I'm like, but I like being aggressive and making moves like that. If it's going to be a player that is going to flip your team, like, there were a lot of people who were kind of scared to trade a first for Micah or trade a first for maybe not Trey Henderson because he's been hurt a lot this year. But those are the type of guys where I think people have this misconception that you got to fill every single hole on your team to win. That's not the case.
No.
You got to have guys that make up for those holes.
Yes.
Bryce Young, he's a guy. Yeah, we talking about Bryce again. I don't care. He's a guy that makes up for that hole in your offensive line. Hello, talk about it. He makes up for that hole in your offensive line. If you look at he has one of the lowest pressure to sack ratios, which means he's avoiding sacks. He's mitigating muddy pockets.
Yeah.
He's extending plays. That's an elite quarterback trait.
Yes.
We'll talk about the floor and all that stuff another time, but that's an elite quarterback trait.
Yep.
Micah Parsons. Or take it off of Micah Parsons. Chris Jones. I was just having a discussion with somebody the other day. People think that the Chiefs had some kind of elite defense when they won those Super Bowls. You go look at those defense. A lot of those guys they had on there started on the Panthers about a year before.
Yeah.
Rashad, he was a starting corner for them. He was Frank Clark. He was their leading sack getter from their edge group. Frank Clark.
And let me tell you what's something crazy, bro. Real quick. them and the Eagles from last year, not a single person over 10 sacks. Tons of pressure, though,
Yeah.
but not a single person over 10 sacks. Carry on.
Yeah, but you get a guy like Chris Jones where he's so dominant, it covers up that, hey, we don't have this super deep, super dominant edge duo or whatever, because he's going to get most of the attention and free guys up for one-on-ones. He got Tershawn Wharton paid.
Yeah. Yeah, he sure did.
Tershawn Wharton don't look like he did last year. He hasn't been terrible, but he don't look like a guy who should have got paid $16 million. That's just being fair as a pass rusher.
Yeah.
But he don't have Chris Jones next to him. So if you're going to go up and get a guy like T-Mac, he's a prime example of a guy that covers the flaws in that. Dog, he's at 700 yards. Nobody else before this game was above 200. That's a guy that covers flaws. That's a guy you go move up for. That's why the Rams offered 2 first-round picks and a second to go get him.
Was sick. That's the same reason why Micah, before leaving the Cowboys, sick. We made the right decision. There were people that were so upset with this decision early on. There were people who were, even when we were doing pre-draft stuff, you remember it. You came on the channel, man. Tons of pushback. Yeah. We drafted T-Mac 3 times. We did 3 mock drafts, and we drafted him 3 times. You know what I'm saying? The only person that we even thought about, the potential, okay, we looked at Walter Nolan to see what that would look like. Or possible, I made a case for James Pierce or whatever. But we always landed on Mac. You know what I'm saying?
It was always T-Mac.
Always.
And funny enough, you see how Walter Nolan looking right now. I ain't gonna lie. He would have been an eye pick too, but I'm happy where we at. I'm happy where we at for sure.
Same
But
here.
if you're now, let me pose you a question because that's interesting to me. This is why the trade back is up in the air for me because, like I said, I love being aggressive, making those type of moves for that certain player. But I also have been so jealous of the teams that make the playoffs every year and can sit in the back half of the draft and take the guy that had no business falling to where he fell. I've always wanted to be that team. I've always wanted to be the Ravens taking Malachi Starks at 32. Yeah. Or being the Chiefs taking Creed Humphrey wherever it was around.
Yeah, it was way late. Yes.
Eagles taking Jahad Campbell this past year. He's looking like the best linebacker on that team, to be honest, the second best linebacker on that team. I struggle because if we make the playoffs, do we just sit back and wait and say, hey, bump whatever need we have. It doesn't matter if we need this position. If a certain guy falls, we taking him.
Cardell Tate.
He's the best player at that position. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Somebody like that. Carnell Tate, Mekhi Lemon, or even if it's like a defensive tackle. All right, Clemson has been terrible this year.
Yep.
Now everybody don't like Peter Woods no more. Boom, he there at 18 for us.
Yeah.
Take Peter Woods.
Yep.
I want to be that team, but I also would love somebody like Arvell Reese. It's an interesting dilemma to be in.
Yeah, you're right. And the reason why I love Arvell Reese too, but I probably would, if you look synonymously with teams like even last year when you saw what happened with the Eagles and us, right? When we played the Eagles in the end zone, it wasn't Jalen Carter that was getting doubled. It was the guy who just got paid that was supposed to come here, right? Yeah. It was Milton Williams who was wrecking the game. It was Milton Williams who wrecked the Super Bowl. Teams that get interior pressure win ball games. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And they're going to open up and free up guys. I've always been a guy that's like pressures over sacks because pressures can still make you make mistakes. Even if you don't necessarily close the deal with a sack, I'm cool with if you're getting the pressure. And that's what Nick Scorton's doing right now. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, I think an offseason will work wonders for Princely. I don't think that Princely hadn't even reached close to his potential. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's another guy that I'm, kind of banking on as well. Even potentially, I say this, kind of reluctantly, if it's in a situational role, because that might end up being his role. And I'm cool with that. But to your point, drafting later in the draft and grabbing a guy like Peter Woods I think it would be that one where people are like, oh my God, like, how did they do that? And now.
Exactly.
Because if you're here's the thing that I would say to the Peter Woods pick. And this is where you kind of make the, the 6-7, right? It's like, if you're going Carnell Tate, it's like we need more juice on offense. You know what I'm saying? Which, honestly, if you're not going to get Jimmy more involved, which we're going to get to that clip in just a second, you do. A lot of the, receivers are a bit statuesque, right? That was one of Smitty's biggest concerns was just like, you draft T-Mac, and it's like, where are you getting, like, everybody's kind of possession. Like, where's the juice at? You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like you kind of have that. I'll be honest with you, dog. Like, I feel like Jimmy, he might be AB and waiting. It's just when his opportunities show up. You know what I'm saying? He really might be, right? But we don't know that yet. Okay.
Yeah.
So I know this though. I know that depending on how you look at things, you could say, okay, I could take the Carnell or I could go Peter Woods, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it really just depends on who's calling your defense. Because if you're going to continue with
Mm-hmm.
Ajiro Avero, the Vic Fangio guy, what do they do
Yeah.
that they love more than anything else? I want to get pressure with 4. What do we
Yeah.
not do that everybody else, that all the people hate us for? We don't get
Facts.
pressure with, you see what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
like, if
Yeah.
he's still calling the defense, then yeah, Peter Woods, mark it. But
Mm-hmm.
if not, then, because you talked about Spags, man, like the one thing Spags will do to a young quarterback, and I wish so bad we would have done this to Tyler Shuck because we really didn't. And you talked about it in your video. Man,
Yeah.
Spags literally he will go 0 and look you dead in the face and be like, I'm not pulling anybody back. Like he
Yeah.
did it,
Yeah.
to Bryce a couple of times last year.
I
Like,
was gonna say he did it to Bryce
yes,
last year.
sir. They were at the line and he was like, look, you think they might be dropping back. It's only one guy back there. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's gonna be you, him, and Thielen. You got to figure it out. And I'm sending the house. I just wish sometimes so bad. I'm like, yo, Vero, send them all at Tyler Shuck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to make him scared.
Yeah, that's facts. And it's so. And here's my thing with EJ, dog. I have a love-hate relationship because I don't think he's aggressive enough. I don't think he's. Let me not say creative. He is starting to be more creative in his coverage calls, but I don't think he's aggressive enough getting to the passer. And I think it's his safety background because he plays safety. When you look at when he first got to Denver, when he got the DC job at Denver, they traded Chubb. They traded who was the other? Von Miller. Both of those guys got traded, and so I think he kind of doesn't value edge pressure enough or pressure from the second level. But then you'll just get the perfect blitz call from a Trevin Wallace, and it's just like,
yeah, that's right.
Finally,
or Morik, or Morik,
yeah, exactly,
and JC,
so
yeah.
Like, okay, maybe is he not aggressive enough, or does he choose when he pulls out the big joker? So it's interesting. It's a love hate, but we'll see. Like I said, we'll see closer to the draft if he's still the guy. I think that does sway a lot where the pick goes.
Yes, that's fascinating you say that because that same 0 I'm talking about, the Chiefs did it in the championship game against Josh Allen, and he lost the challenge. Ball floated. Chiefs go to the Super Bowl again. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So which tells you a lot about 9. That tells you a whole lot about 9.
Yeah,
right.
A lot.
Right.
Because he passed that test a couple times.
Of times. Yes, he did. Right. But that's an interesting point. Because like you said, it is more calculated pressure. And then you look at 2 scenarios that you talked about when you talked about like his lack of interest in pass rush, right? One of the best pass rushers in the league right now, Nick Bonito, would not play him as a rookie. Would not play him.
Yeah,
right?
That's facts. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then you look at someone that he beat the table and vouched for. I don't have to tell you the clip. I don't even have to say the name. Hey, man, look, we got to set the edge before we rush the quarterback.
Yeah. That's that. And I think that holds Scourton back a lot, too.
Yeah.
I talked about that on X. Scourton, when he finally gets to just peel his ears back and just go, he's winning about 50% of the time. But a lot of our defense is, hey, let's contain first, let's look, let's hold our gap first, and then go.
Yes. That's fascinating, man. And it makes you wonder, like, I know they were just in shorts and stuff, but it just feels like another person that might be suffering from that is Princely, man. Because, bro, when it was just like pin your ears back and go, man, it seems like every day you heard from OTAs like Princely in the backfield, sack. And it's just like, yo, what happened? And it makes you wonder. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, hopefully, these are things that changes because you can see that. I understand. I see his vision. You know what I'm saying? It's just like people killed Phil Snow with the 3-3-5, 53% of the snaps. You know what I'm saying? Back when, when he was here.
Yeah.
But look at what they did in the draft. Stanley Thomas Oliver, Troy Pride, Kenny Robinson, Sam Franklin. You could see the vision, but it didn't all come together because 1, you didn't have the quarterback, and 2, you can't have, your defensive coordinator being the guy that's calling all the shots. You know what I'm saying? But
facts.
That's neither here nor there. All right. So we got 165 watching between 2 platforms, 72 likes. Make sure to smash that like button. I'm here with the real ball watcher, man. This has been an absolute treat. I told this man we was only going to be on for like an hour and 15 minutes. Here we are, an hour and 22, and we still got stuff to get to.
You.
So, hey.
I told you, what I tell you in the pre-show? I
you
said,
told me.
we going to see about these clips I got. I like the yap. We going to see how the vibe go.
It's all good, man. That's what I'm here for. Okay, so here's another clip I want to show you because somebody had mentioned something, and I want to read one more chat from Steve-O because he had something. He says, are we too young of a team? Do they understand what it means? How far can we go? Honestly, both of you, what are your thoughts? Okay, I want to get your thoughts first because I have an answer to that because I started my show against the Saints. I mean, after the Saints week on Mint Street Mondays. Make sure to tap in Mint Street Mondays if you're not. About something that he just said here, but I want to hear your answer to this first.
Young, I won't say we're young. I think we're too, and this may sound harsh, we're such losers. We're so used to losing. When you play football, like, hey, back in the day, when you get a touchdown, act like you've been there before. Just hand the ball to the ref, go on with the next play. We don't know how. We've never been there. So we have to learn what it is to be there. And I think somebody who is not necessarily used to winning, but kind of a good mentality was a rookie in Nick Scorton, where he came out and said, I could tell from the jump when I came into the locker room, we quiet. The vibe isn't there. People kill Bryce Young for his comments of, I'm not externally motivated. All my motivation is internal. Me playing good, bad, or indifferent doesn't motivate me. What people say doesn't motivate me. But that is a good mentality to have as a team, because if you don't have, if there's nothing to get you up every single day, like a Saints game, that's when you slip up.
Yeah.
That's when you get to the playoffs, and now you're playing the Panthers, who barely scrapped into the playoffs, and you this Rams team that's, let's say they 13-4 or whatever it is. Hey, we could look past these guys. We don't got nothing to really get up. Let's just get to the next round. And boom, now you lost. We saw it with Dave Canales in the Bucs when they played the Eagles.
Yeah.
They mollywopped them in the first round.
They sure did.
They didn't have nothing to really get up for them. And I think that's what it is. We don't know how to win yet and how to sustain that winning.
You talked about it, man. You talked about, what do they understand what it means? Having that mentality where you talk about being internally motivated. You know who I'm good with that with? Bryce Young, quarterback. I'm okay with that.
Right.
You're touching the ball. You have so much, so many things that, you need to have a hold on, you know what I'm saying, and everything like that. You want a guy that's more even keel, you know what I'm saying, someone that can, deal with the arrows and stuff like that. Now, my Nick Scortons, my Clarton Cherlises, my Christian Roseboom, no, I want those guys Jack Ham with missing teeth, with his face mask that look like the frame of a daybed, out here trying to kill people. You see what I'm saying? There is a difference, right? But he talked about it. Wonder do they know? I talked about this, man, on the after the Saints. I saw so much chatter about whether or not we had rivalries anymore. I'm like, do y'all remember? Like, are y'all familiar with the fact that the Saints, like Sean Payton literally had a broom in the locker room dancing? Ask Cam Newton if he thinks that the Saints are still a rival all these years later.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
No, they still exist. It's still up. You play for UNC or Duke, it don't matter who it is. When you show up to Cameron, you know what time it is. When you show up to the Dean Dome, you know what time it is. It don't matter who wearing the jersey. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Carolina. It's F Duke forever. And look,
you know what it is.
Yes, that's right. JJ, you my man. JJ from Panther Fans Only, you my man, but you know what time it is, right?
Facts.
But the point is, man, yes, these things exist because they're internal motivators. They have to exist, right? So the next time you show up and they start laughing at, hey, 1-8, I'll never forget, man. My high school team won the state championship in 1999. Right, I went to AC Reynolds High School. A lot of great alumni. Ben Johnson, the current Bears quarterback, Bears head coach. Was our quarterback, but he was young back then. I know him, but he was young at that point. He went on to win the state championship 2 years later, right? In 2002, right? But man, they had some dogs on that team, right? I went to Reynolds High School. Our biggest rival in the city, man, we ain't worried about Robinson. We ain't worried about Irwin. Asheville High. When Asheville High showed up, if you ain't win the Asheville High game, it was a problem. They didn't matter. They went to the state championship. They lost the state championship in 3A. We went to the state championship. We won it. They were 13-1. We were 13-1. Guess who beat us? Asheville High.
Yeah.
And look, the hardware felt great. It felt great.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, when you get back home, God dang it, I ain't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a difference.
It's crazy because it's I won't even say it's crazy. It's actually sad because a lot of the players were, oh, we haven't been here long enough. This ain't no rivalry. And people were bailing them out. Well, yeah, some of them just got here. Like you said, as soon as you step on camp at Chapel Hill, as soon as you step on camp at Duke, it's F the other one.
Yes.
It's F the other side the
All
whole
day.
time. And it's sad that the fans are carrying the rivalries of the NFC South better than the teams are.
Yeah.
That's what's killing me the most.
Yeah.
Me, Dunk, four-man rush Monty. Shout out Monty.
Yeah.
We going at
Monty
it.
be giving it up too, boy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We carrying it harder than they are. Now, it does. Atlanta is a little bit of an exception to the rule. I ain't gonna lie, Bryce. I feel like Bryce. That's his rival.
Yeah.
It seems like he been pissed off since that debut in his rookie year.
Yeah.
And he been taking it out on. That's what it seems like. But every other team, I needed to be the same energy.
Yeah.
I need to be the same energy for the whole NFC South.
Couldn't agree more. It's a fight in the chat now. Heels and Duke. We done brought it up. I love it, man. Let me read this one more
ain't
super
nobody
chat.
worried about the Dukies.
Period. At all. Can we get more veteran presence in the wide receiver room? I don't think we need more veteran presence. I think these guys are going to grow and learn together. I will say this, though. I do think that there has been a growing and maturation period after losing Adam Thielen and also David Moore. I feel like that underrated. David Moore lost. Yeah.
Dog, I love some David Moore, man. I was fighting tooth and nail in the offseason for David Moore, dog. He's just – the floor that he brings to your team is so needed, dog. And I see why Dave Canales love him because we just talked about that Eagles game, that playoff game. The person that went off was David Moore.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't have to be this consistent winner, this consistent hooper. You just need him for moments like that where it's a big moment, lights are on, you need somebody to show up. He going to be that veteran presence. He hooped in that Chiefs game.
Yeah.
When we played against the Chiefs, he was the guy getting a lot of those passes against those zero blitzes.
That's right.
We need somebody like that. We need that floor. So, but you're right. I don't know if we need a veteran presence because wide receiver is such an easily translatable position nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at T-Mac. He already top 6 in receiving yards and could finish higher. So I don't know if that's what we need. I think it's more about juice than anything and health.
Agreed.
To be honest.
I would agree with that wholeheartedly. So that takes me to my next clip, and salute to you, Joe, for the super chat. So, all right, I'm getting dislikes like crazy. I'm getting likes like they mad at me, man. They talking about the hills, man. Look,
this how we carry it, man.
Exactly, man.
To the depth.
Till y'all get a
what
goat.
Caleb Wilson doing?
Yeah, till y'all get a goat. Y'all goat Christian Laettner. Shut up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so all right. So you brought up this play, and I think this is fascinating. And the reason is because this is another one of those plays where there's multiple different things that I want to break down, right? And then I want you to break the actual play down and what we saw here. Because, man, if Bryce Young, I know like you said, he knew where he was going with this. He needed time to make it happen. And he did something like, remember, when he evaded pressure in the Saints game and kind of did the run up and throw the ball, that does work sometimes, especially on specific route, because he did the same thing. Like, I think one of the coldest Bryce Young throws ever was the throw to tie the game against Tampa Bay, where he kind of bounced and then moved up and hit Thielen. Oh my gosh, beautiful. Thanks. You know what I'm saying? And to me, it's like with this, it just feels like, because I can't run, I think at this point, if I'm not mistaken, the one I'm looking at, the ankle is taped up. I can't really move. Sure. Yeah, ankle is taped up. So I'm sliding in the pocket. Very Brady-esque, where I'm moving around, but I'm not really going anywhere. I'm just moving just to get to a spot. I'm telling you, man, that's the thing that really, to me, if he builds on that, you talking top 5 QB by the end of this year. Yes, by the end of this year, because that is an element to his game that will take his vision, that will take his anticipation, and all that other stuff to the next level, because now your feet, like Dan Orlovsky always says, are married to the route, right?
Yeah.
So
married to the concept,
married to the concept. But the highlight in this is, yes, he went to Coker, but boy, Because you said it in your video. We're gonna let it
Yep, for
play through.
sure.
Cause
For
boy,
sure.
little buddy with the wheels would have high. I'm talking about Dion high, and you know he would have done it. Dion high step. Soon as the cross happened, look,
Yep.
it's a wrap. Why did he not go there? And what do you see on this that you love so much?
All right. So, we talked about the weak side pressure earlier. What we got here is it's gonna be simple cover one. Actually, yeah, it's still cover one because we got one single high, and it's gonna be Jesse Bates. But the issue is once you motion Jimmy Horn over, that takes the responsibility from this corner, who I think it was his first game starting. I can't think of his name because he was getting toasted. But yeah, it was his first time starting ever. But it takes the responsibility away from him to this deep safety number 31 who's sitting right there on the logo, Xavier Watts. Mm-hmm. Now, I did draft eval on Watts on the channel, and if y'all watched it, you know one of the things I said was his speed is an issue.
Yeah.
He's definitely slow. But I gave it a caveat. If you're going to be playing single high, if you're going to be playing zone, your eyes is what's matter.
Yeah.
But the problem is he not in zone. So now we got him singled up one-on-one with Jimmy Horn, and that's speed versus a guy who struggles with speed. We know that's cooked food. Yeah. Put him on a grill, sauce him up, put your seasoning on it, and let's eat.
Let's do it.
But Bryce already knew, hey, they sending pressure from the weak side. It's going to be cover one. Quarterbacks are taught to throw into the blitz. So as soon as he saw Coker win this route, he knew it was premeditated. Oh, yeah. I'm going right to Coker this whole time. But boy, if he would have got it to Jimmy, it would have been a lot of happy Colorado fans on the TL. Man, y'all would have seen a lot of Scope buffs on the TL.
I'll tell you this too before you break it down. Not only that, that's the type of play you cannot unsee. Mm-hmm. Not when you're Dave Canales watching film with the group and you're breaking down, hey, Jimmy, great job, man. No, it's when you and Brad Isaac are sitting down and the position coaches, and you got that one position coach that's doing this the whole time. Knocking on the table. Because I've been trying to tell you, bro. I've been trying to tell you. This is what it is with him. Y'all just got to give him opportunity. You see what I'm saying? Like, those are the conversations that are going to get real difficult. Because this ain't the only time that I've seen that on tape. And you pointed that out.
Not.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not. For sure. He had a couple of routes like that against the Saints where he was winning deep. And I was like, okay, I mean, it's there. It's there. So there is some hesitation with me when it comes to adding receivers. Because like you said, I think these guys need time to grow and to get the opportunities that they deserve. Because, dog, if Jimmy hits, it's scary. It's scary. It's scary. Because Bryce ain't had somebody like that since he was at Bama. And we saw what he was doing at Bama with him.
Yes. Jameson. That's right. Or Jameer. You know what I'm saying?
I'm about to say even a Gibbs or even not as fast, but somewhat twitchy and easy separator and Mechie.
Yeah.
Either one of those guys, we haven't had any of those guys, and Jimmy would be the first one that's like it. And we've seen how explosive the offense gets when Bryce Young has one of those guys, let alone multiple.
And not just that, man. Like, so the contrast, you that's perfect that you mentioned that, because the contrast is, look at the offense the year that he took over starting. Mechie, Williams, Jameer Gibbs, right? Then look at the offense after Mechie and Jameson Williams left, right? Now you got Leatu Latu, Jermaine Burton, Ja'Cory Brooks. You know what I'm saying? Like, and these guys aren't burners, right? So his number one receiver, oddly enough, in that year that was a quote unquote down year, as many people say, like, man, it was Jameer Gibbs. You know what I'm saying?
I was going to say it's Gibbs. Yeah.
Gibbs. That's what makes the Brooks thing so fascinating. We'll talk about that another time.
I was going to bring it up earlier when you said something, but I was like, I'm going to chill because we're getting off on a tangent, but I'm going to chill.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me what you see here.
All right, gotcha. Let it run. So when they come out, like, once again, they showing that even front so you don't know where they're going. So whenever they motion over, Billy Bowman follows. But once again, we talked about that weak side blitz. Look at where the strong side of the formation is on offense. Your tight end and your running back are to the right. Yeah. We've been seeing this all game long. We know they're blitzing from the opposite side, so they have better numbers. So at that point, you'd be rushing maybe 3 or 4, depending on if that linebacker goes. I don't remember off the top of my head. You have 3 or 4 versus 2 guys on this offensive side. So, yeah, you got the defensive tackle, defensive end, and now you got a free rusher from that nickel going. Luckily enough, Rico Dowdle does cross Bryce Young's face to pick up that blitzer. But now Bryce knows, oh, they're blitzing. This got to be single high, and we got the perfect call. Whenever you run these double crossers, it's just like if you play Madden and you run mesh against man coverage. It's the same thing. It's just further downfield. So at that point, you're just picking which one am I going to go to. Since Jimmy Horn is in off coverage, he doesn't win immediately, even though you could argue he does if you know the strength of the players. But Bryce sees Coker 1 at the line, like off the release. If you run it back to the beginning, from the release, whenever that ball snaps, look at that corner come press. Bryce is already like, oh, he's pressing. Let's see what Coker does right here at the line. Once he gets off, it's a quick little ha. Oh, yeah, he got him beat. From the jump, there was already 3 yards of horizontal separation. Now we just got to get downfield. So that's when he sees, all right, bet we're going to get it right over this hook defender, which is in that linebacker. Since it's cover 1, you got 1 deep, 1 patrol in the middle of the field for these type of plays.
Right.
And it was cooked food. Like I said, as soon as he saw him win at the line, I want to look at his eyes. Let me see where his eyes go. Because if his eyes go to Coker, that would kind of solidify my point. But yeah, immediately it was kind of glancing. And right back to the middle.
Yep.
And you already knew where he was going.
And it looked like it was just a throw off, like he was just trying to look off the deep safety. Yeah.
Yep. That's exactly what it was. He's looking at Coker this whole time. I'm gonna step up, put it right over that set, which people don't talk about enough. The ability he got to layer it over linebackers for
especially for a guy his size that people say, now look, here it is. Because this what I'm talking about is this. All right. Now, one thing that you notice about Bryce, look how wide the base is. No click back, no drift, right?
Yep.
So then I just kind of neatly I plant the foot again, right? Neatly kind of dodge the pressure. Move up, one hitch, boom, it's gone. You see what I'm saying? For a guy that they say can't see over the middle of the field, to be able to do that with guards and tackles right in your face.
That's one debate I had a lot. And you're right, though. I think the ankle is accidentally helping him with this, because Bryce Young, one thing I've always had a criticism towards him is his mobility sometimes hurts him. Guys like Brady, guys like Breeze, they weren't as mobile. So they kind of had to do this often. But Bryce Young has always been able to mitigate a pocket like this, and which is why when I was debating coming out, him or CJ Stroud, I always put him above. Because if you can mitigate a pocket like this, it doesn't matter what your offensive line looks like. As we can see now, we on the 12th combination. I think he got pressured the most times all season in this game, and he was still able to go off. So to be able to mitigate pressure like that, it just raises the ceiling. And I didn't think Stroud has as much ability to not evade pressure, because he can get out and run, but to stand in there and just make those slight movements, that slight adjustment to the side, slight adjustment and moving up. But Bryce, since he's so mobile, instead of just making it a slight steps like he is now, he likes to, hey, I'm going to run around back here. That's where that Steph Curry kind of comparison comes into play, because he's just running around guys. He's running around blockers. I'm going to run around. Now I'm going to stop on the dime and make like that Miami game. Instead of stepping up, stepping into the pocket and making a throw, he loops around the back of the pocket. Now he's running around, stopping on the dime, juking the linebacker, and then throwing. Since his ankle was a little messed up, he was kind of hampered and had to stand in the pocket and throw, like you said, more of those classic Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning type of guys did. And it obviously worked, as we can see.
Yep. And he's a guy that talks about often, you hear him, it's kind of, it gets a little redundant sometimes, but I'm glad he does it, because you don't want him giving up too much in the press conferences that'll create more unnecessary, drama that doesn't need to be there, right? For example, J.J. McCarthy, this week, saying something about how things are different or whatever it was he said, and then the whole conversations, started to kind of pipe up this week about, what he, or the past couple of days about what he said recently. To me, I'm glad that he says that. But one of the things that he says often in his pressers is relying on your training. You know what I'm saying? Knowing exactly what I'm relying on my training. Okay, so now it's like, cool. You can't revert back to your old habits. I showed this a long time ago. I don't have this clip, but I'll just talk about it. Sam Darnold struggled early on with the feet matching the route. Bad muscle memory. Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor fight, right? And every time that Floyd got grabbed by Conor, he immediately start doing this. Because in MMA, I can hit you on top of the head, right? You can train for 9 months, but you're not going to be able to get the 10,000 Malcolm Gladwell hours, if you will, out of your head of the training that you know what I'm saying? So like naturally, when you feel fight or flight, you're going to go back to what you know that makes you feel the most comfortable. With Bryce Young, it feels like, okay, I've been a shorter guy my whole life. I've always been an anomaly, and I had to play a certain way to be able to play up to the level that I needed to be successful. And a lot of that was me moving around. So now some of this stuff that I know will make me ultimately successful, maybe I'm not so comfortable doing that yet. You know what I'm saying? And I said this last year, and you tell me what you think about this, because I felt like in kind of a way, Dave might have felt like, man, because Dave has a specific way that he trains quarterbacks, right? He started off as a wide receiver coach, so he knows the importance of marrying feet to route, all that kind of stuff, right? I wonder at some point last year if he felt like, man, I just don't know if this guy gonna get it or not. You know what I'm saying? Because John Gruden had that whole thing about like, bro, why is your right foot back like that? And he kind of had that whole explanation about quick game and all that kind of stuff. And he's like, okay, cool, but that's just not what these guys do. That's not what the goats of this. Aaron Rodgers is an anomaly. You're not Aaron Rodgers. You see what I'm saying? Well, all right, let me stop because I'll have to pull out the ether if I start really getting to it. But,
I'm about to say it.
Because it'll be some. I already done got some dislikes, and look, I'm ready for it, right? But the point I'm making is like he does things that are so not traditional that when you see the traditional, I've watched, man, when you watch how wide Drew Brees' base was for him just to get a 5-step off because of his size and height. You know what I'm saying? Seeing Bryce do that kind of stuff, like last year, for example, that throw to Coker on the boundary against Denver, same thing. Wide base, extremely wide. So it's like, yo, if you can do that consistently, and maybe I had to just tap your ankle a little bit to get you to be like, hey, lock in, do this, then it looks like that. You see what I'm saying? And so I just love seeing that. Go, I'm sorry.
It's so interesting. No, you good. It just you saying that made it popped something in my head. It's interesting because there's a fine line, or there's a tightrope that you walk where you don't want to take away what a guy is great at.
Right.
And sorry if you see the dog. He just chewed up my charger.
No, you
had
good.
To hold him. I said, "Hold on, brother. Hold on. You chew this charger like $30, dog.
Right.
It's a MacBook charger." I said, "Nah,
he been turned since you was in the green room. Like when you was in the green room before the show started."
But you don't want to take away what he's good at, and that ability to stop on a dime, make guys miss in that backfield is very rare. A lot of guys can't do it.
Exactly.
You don't want to take that away. But you also need him to have that stronger base on those deeper throws because he's not this rocket arm QB. So he has to have good mechanics when he's throwing the ball downfield. Yes. So I wonder if it's you're kind of coaching both. Because I talked about that lead play where I'm like, hey, this play, you going in the huddle and you're saying, hey, we throwing a go to League right here. There's nothing else that's going to happen on this. So does he already know, all right, since we doing that, I know my footwork got to be this way.
Right.
Versus if it's another play and it's like, hey, we got a couple of options, you go be Bryce with your footwork. It's interesting because I feel like his footwork is a huge talking point.
Yes.
That first year when Dave Canales got hired, and then it kind of just went away. It didn't get better. His footwork didn't get that much better, but it just went away. So it's interesting. I would love to kind of pick somebody's brain on the inside to see how they balance that and what are they coaching. It's interesting. I don't know. That's just something that popped in my head when you were speaking.
That is fascinating. I think that once this season is over, I think there'll be some guys that'll be open to like come out and have more conversations, especially if they finish. Because right now, obviously being above 500, you got to know back angle. I'm working the phones. I'm working the messages. You know what I'm saying? All the contacts. Because like you, I'm trying to get, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's see one of these jokers gonna give it up. I got one in particular that's been kind of tapped in with me. I'm not gonna say who it is, but like he shared a post or two, and I was like, oh, so you watching? Okay. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'm like, all right, so you know, when I ain't gonna mess with you right now, but when it get close to closing time, we gonna yeah, because but he'll give it up now. You know what I'm saying? So that'll be interesting to see, you know, if that happens. But all right, so there was one more play I wanted to pull real quick. Let me make sure that I have this correct because It was the one that you were talking about earlier. You said we were going to get to this one. It's the Rico Dowdle calling this shot.
Yeah.
Before I pull that, I got to say this, man. One, Rico Dowdle, pride of AC Reynolds High School. Let me go ahead and throw that out there. throw that out there real quick. But
first rep.
I do find this fascinating. Dave talks about smart players. I want smart players. I think two things happening simultaneously I love, because this can be a little bit, you can get a little weary of this when there's not a hierarchy, right? And when Nick Scorton comes out and says what he says in the media publicly, this is the ugly side of what Dave Canales and company do, right? Yeah. About being extremely player-led. Where, because I talked about it, man, there are some offensive coordinators like, try that with Josh McDaniels. You know what I'm saying? Try that with Bill O'Brien. You know what I'm saying? Rico coming up. Man, go shut up. You know what I'm saying? Go sit down. Wait for your number when it's called. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But for him to actually have the autonomy to go up to Brad is, hey, Brad, look, I'm seeing this. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. Same thing in the Dolphin game. Hey, man, if we run that, toss, that inside zone toss, we can really do something with it. But then when you show it, like if you show your work, if it's like, all right, man, I'm going to give you the keys to the office. I'm going to take a day off. What you going to do? You know what I'm saying? Am I going to get 1,000 calls that the building's burning down? Or am I going to come back and everything be, you don't have to outsell everybody. You don't have to outmanage everybody or be, the type manager type. But is the building intact? But he goes a step further. Hey, not only is the building intact, but I sold 5 cars in the process. You see what I'm saying? That's what he's doing every time he's making these calls. I kind of like that, man. Like I said, there is a dark side to it. But when it's working, it's working. How do you feel about that? Having that autonomy to go up to your coaches and say, hey, let's try this. And they actually do it.
I like it. I think trauma right here. We're going to trauma dump right quick. I'll never forget when I played high school football. I played very, very high level high school football. Like I played Drake May. I played Akeem Ekwonu in my first varsity game. Like we were playing.
Let's go.
We were playing. Yeah. We were playing guys. Mm-hmm. I'll never forget, we were playing, if you're from Charlotte, we were playing Providence. And they were running this buck sweep. And it just did not make sense to me that my job as a defensive end was to squeeze down and just make sure that the linebacker, the linebacker, the offensive tackle doesn't work up to the backside linebacker. Mm-hmm. Front side linebacker be damned. But the backside linebacker, let's keep him free so he can scrape over from the opposite hash and make a play to the opposite sideline. I said, that doesn't make sense. I told my coach, I said, hey, we got a puller. We got 2 pullers, by the way. They were both of the linemen 6'8", both of the guards on that side, 6'8", 300 pounds. They're pulling, and I got my homie, Peterson. He's 5'7". Mm-hmm. One of those scrappy nickel guys, but he's 5'7". So he's going to lose that battle every time.
Yeah.
And then my linebackers obviously getting a full head of steam from a 6'8" guy, and they were just running it all over. I said, now, coach, what if me and Peterson take out the pullers? That leaves Ari, our frontside linebacker, open to make the play. My position coach said, yeah, go ahead. It works. Ooh. DC up in the box calls down. He's not doing what the fuck I told him to do. Take him out the game. I got in trouble. So I like that if your players sometimes see something that you might not see. And that's exactly what happened on that Rico Dowdle play. So I do like that ability. And I like them. I just wanted to happen in the crucial moments because he gets that from Pete Carroll. Dave is a Pete Carroll disciple.
If there ever was one. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. But you think about how it went south in Seattle, where Pete Carroll starts listening to one guy. He's only listening to Russ. He's not taking in Marshawn, and now we passing the ball on the goal line with the Super Bowl on the line instead of running it. So as long as the lines of communication is open to everyone, I'm all for it.
That's fascinating. Did you play at A&T?
I did not. I did track and field at A&T for like half a year, but I didn't get to play.
That's what's up. So, they say smart people learn from their own mistakes. Wise people learn from the mistakes of others, right? I think that they don't necessarily have – you got a Scorton. Scorton would be your Michael Bennett. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Lathan would be your Bobby. You know what I'm saying? If he develops into that, of course. you don't really have a lot of those type of personalities on the team. But I will say this, you know how it is if you like me. I ain't go to school, man. I ain't no street dude, but I'm, it's the level of separation is very, very thin. Let's just say that, to say the least, right?
Facts.
So, praise God that I made it where I made it to, right? Because I had a pops that just wasn't going for it. But and I love my pops too, man. My pops called in the show one time. It was amazing. Like it was funny. Because my pops like real country, like real backwood, like what you say, boy? You know what I'm saying? Like super back. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to pops, man. Just turned 60. My pops just turned 63, man. But
all right,
man, you don't have a ton of those type of personalities. But when when you losing and everybody down bad, you know what I'm saying? We all kind of got one vision, man. Let's just get to the top. You know what I'm saying? Let's stable it out. You know, you hustling, you're just trying to get, you know what I'm saying? Like, look, we just trying to make enough just to eat, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, but then when the money start really coming in, then people start looking weird at each other because you got equal opportunities here, but the outcome ain't equal. You know what I'm saying? So, hey man, I feel like I might have been a little bit more reason for this success than you were. And that's where you start to kind of get because look, in sort of ways, didn't we kind of already see that with Nick going public? You know what I'm saying? Like in kind of a way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
you did. I mean, you kind of seen that in the locker room too, because even outside of Nick, you got guys. Icky backed it up. He said something, the same sentiment. I forgot who it was. A third player that said the same thing. But then you got some of the older guys like Derek Brown. They were saying the opposite. No, we prepared the same. We still got it. We didn't overlook them. And it's like a clash. It's like, okay, well, which one is it? You got the younger guys, kind of this new breed of guys that are saying one thing, but then you got Derek Brown, a leader, a captain of his team. Maybe he's saying it to save face, like for Canales to, like, we seen Canales didn't like that they said that.
Right.
So maybe was a little bit of that, or was it a little bit like you're saying, where it's like, hey, maybe I'm kind of the elder here. Y'all relax. It wasn't that. Y'all don't know what y'all talking about. Because Nick kind of said it. He was like, I'm new here. I don't know how it was before. I don't know how it is to win in the NFL, but I know it wasn't this.
It wasn't that. Yeah. Yeah, that's a fact. You know, and man, that's fascinating, man. So, okay, so I'm looking, tell me, when did this play happen I know it was
Rico?
For Rico.
It was the last drive of the regulation. It was right before the T-Mac touchdown, right in the fourth quarter, like 2 minutes left, somewhere around there.
Shotgun fourth.
I was about to say, if you're on pro, just put in Rico Dowdle receiving, and then just go to targets. And it'll probably be like the last one.
Okay, I got you. So, hold on 1 second. Let me just acknowledge that I ain't talked to the chat in a minute. I feel like I did have a super chat that came through. My man Steve-O again with the rent. All right,
and the bills.
Steve-O, hey, bro, if you get evicted, man, look. Steve-O said restructure Chuba, re-sign Rico. Just real quick, just a quick thought. What's your thoughts on that, man?
Man, I'm a Brooks believer.
Me too.
That's the thing. I'm a Brooks believer. I think Brooks, he gets healthy, stays healthy. He's a superstar back. I think he's easily the best back in the backfield. So I am a fan of re-signing Rico. I was on the train of trade Chuba, not because of his play, just because it freed up money. Like I said, my future mind looking forward, it was only because it freed up money. You probably get Rico back on a cheaper deal, like we already had him on, and now you have a rookie contract with Brooks and ETN. Then you can put that money that you got for Chuba elsewhere, make your team better. But now I'm starting to think, man, if there's something to be said for rebuilding a culture and reaping the benefits. So it's like, damn, can you really let go of Chuba? Because then what does that say for the guys that are looking outside? Because that's what you got to think. It's not about making your players feel good all the time. Sometimes it is. It's not about the guys in the locker room. It's also the guys from the outside. Like, they're going to look and, damn, that's how they did him after he stayed down. He backed up McCaffrey, didn't get no carries.
Yep.
He came in with Foreman, had to split carries with him, even though he had been there longer. Foreman leaves, he comes, breaks out, looks like a top 10 back, and then they just throw him to the wayside after he was obviously playing hurt, which Chuba had already came out and said that he was playing hurt. So players look at that. So it's interesting. I'm not mad at it, but it's just I don't know many backfields that are three-headed backfields. That's the thing.
I'll say this because it is a very interesting dichotomy. Because I think the same way you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, though, and I've posed this, and I got some pushback, and I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Has the team not been telling you what they really think about Chuba, despite how well he has performed, how he has progressed, right? So let's run it back. They draft Chuba, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then they bring in Miles Sanders, like you said. I mean, Deontay Foreman. Well, Deontay Foreman's gone. Well, then they go get a guy in Miles Sanders who rushed for over 1,200 yards in an offense that, mind you, now, and I've said this, when they went and got Miles Sanders in that, in the offseason in free agency, you couldn't have told me they weren't drafting Anthony Richardson. We're gonna duplicate what you see up in Philly with Anthony Richardson. You know what I'm saying? Because of the option for him to run, Jalen Hurts. That's kind of what made Miles so successful up there. Come down here because you see in that offense, if you're great, you're Saquon Barkley, almost breaking the rushing record. But if you're, Kenneth Gainwell or whatever, or one of those guys, you still get off. You know what I'm saying? Just because of the threat of Jalen Hurts, right? So they brought in Miles Sanders, thinking that maybe we can capture some of that energy. Obviously, that didn't really work out. Well, they decide, okay, now let's go get Rico Dowdle, right? So they bring in Rico Dowdle.
Before that,
they drafted what was said to be the best running back in the draft, in Jonathan Brooks.
And did they trade up for him or did they trade down? It was one or the other.
One or the other.
I think they moved up to get him.
Right.
So
Brooks, move forward. Now you bring in Rico Dowdle. But what did they also do in the offseason? Drafted one of the SEC's better running backs, and Trevor Etienne. Is the team not telling you what they really feel? Even with the production. Don't get me wrong.
That's a good point.
Because what is the name of the show? The Ball Don't Lie. I'm not saying this from my emotional perspective because I like Chuba Hubbard. And I'm one of those people that, yes, when you work as hard as he's worked, he deserves to, quote unquote, die on the shield. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like Cam. Cam should have been able to die on the shield here in Carolina. You know what I'm saying? So here in Carolina. But it's still business. And if you still feel like you need more juice in the room, they're telling you without telling you, like, yeah, we're trying to build a two-headed situation. But I can tell you this, with what you're seeing from Rico, don't look so two-headed to me, dog. This looks
facts.
It look real traditional.
Facts. I was gonna say, even if you compare last year to this year, it was a much more even split with between Miles and Chuba. A much more even split between Miles and Chuba from last year compared to now. Now it ain't nothing but the Rico show.
Nigga said, wishbone.
Said run the wishbone. Said run the wishbone. Yeah. Maryland out here, full house.
Yeah. All right, man.
Yeah, Steve-O said they did trade up. Yeah, I thought they traded up. Him, so that's interesting to say the least.
All right. So, and shout out to Anthony Gibson. He shouted us out earlier, man. He said, we cooking. We appreciate you, man. Shout out
my dog, Tony, man. Shout out.
Yeah. Salute. All right. So, now, let's get to this last play, man. All right. This is the Rico Dowdle special. The I called my own shot. Second time you've done this. So, what are we looking at here before we even get started that he may have seen, or what was he seeing prior that brought him to this point?
Like he said, man, all day we've been talking about it with the relax, brother. All day we've been talking about it with the Coker play. We talked about it. It was another play. I want to say the one that Xavier Lee. No, yeah, it was the one that Xavier Lee on that touchdown. The weak side pressure. Look at where the strength of the offense is. Your running back is to the left side of the quarterback. You got guys walked up to the line. We know that they blitzing from the weak side. Rico went to the sideline and said, hey, as soon as you see that linebacker shift over there, let you know it's a blitz. Rico been telling them, hey, if it's a blitz, we get a first down. We know they like to rush because they know we're throwing it on first down. Since it's a 2-minute situation, call a screen. They're not going to be ready for it. And which I want to shout out, I want to say it's Benjamin Sloak. I don't remember his name off top.
Ben Solak.
He pointed this out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ben Solak. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. He pointed out the fact that this play would have worked regardless, but because Caden Ellis on this right side over here where Rico is, he blitz also. Now, instead of him being one-on-one like we talked about before on that swing out route, the safety that's way back here, about 15 yards of depth, 12 yards of depth, he's one-on-one with Rico with the convoy of 3 guys pulling. So that's what he saw. He called his shot, called the coach, and it worked out immediately. I mean, look at how far he has to go to make that play and immediately runs into Icky. And then it was just off to the races then.
Goodness.
Which he should have been in bounds. I ain't gonna lie. I was sitting in that corner when he scored. It looked like he was in bounds to me when he was running towards the field. Just being honest. But it's okay. We got a nicer play after that, so it's cool.
I'll tell you this right now. I saw someone say this earlier, and this doesn't get shouted out enough because we, in content creator land, in media land, man, we always looking for somebody to blame, but we very rarely look for, outside of a cast of maybe 5 or 6 characters in football, guys to praise, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ikem Ekwonu deserves every flower that should be thrown at his feet. And it will happen that way in the form of a major contract because I think that is your next big deal to sign in the offseason.
I agree. I for a long time, I didn't because I was on the train of you can't pay everybody on the line. Because if we pay him, we're paying Lewis, we're paying Hunt, we're paying Moulton. Probably going to have to pay Cade Mays. But it goes back to that Chuba Hubbard thing that I talk about where guys are going to look at you and say, in the free agents, outside of the locker room, not the guys that's in the locker room, but the guys that want to go to your team, they're going to look at you and say, well, damn, that's how you treated Icky after he battled through the Frank Reich situation, battled through the first year with Matt Rule, stayed down, got better consistently, never complained, never did nothing like that, just put his head down and worked. I think you do got to reward that guy. I think he is going to get that contract because he's playing pretty good, man. He's probably one of the best run blockers in the NFL at the tackle position. Matter of fact, not even at the tackle position. Period. One of the best run blockers in the NFL.
Okay, real quick. Yo, my bad, man. Which one did I miss? What did I miss?
Steve, I got the chat pulled up on my phone. Let me see if I can scroll.
Steve,
I see.
Okay. Look, they gonna think they gonna think we propagandists. They gonna be like, hey, look, y'all missed that one on purpose. Steve, I promise I didn't miss it on purpose, but if I wanted to, I would have missed it on purpose, dog. I promise. Look, he says, does Bryce get the boot if not in the playoffs? Hell no. What you talking about?
It don't make sense. Let me get this off too, because I never got to say this on my show because it's much more film centric. It just doesn't make sense to move on for Bryce, no matter how he plays down this back stretch. The quarterback class isn't great. You've already won too many games to actually get a good pick. It's teams that won 3 games, 4 games, and they're picking 15. So you're not going to get any higher than this, most likely. Dante Moore is going back. Lenore Seller's probably going back. It's 2 guys at the top. You're not going to get those 2 guys. You're not picking top 10.
Right.
It doesn't make sense to pay a guy because you much rather just pay to fill the holes. And then if Bryce gets another year and isn't the guy, now we got a rookie quarterback stepping into the Caleb Williams situation. Where we're saying, well, dang, he got T-Mac. He got this. He got the defense. He got the offensive line. He got Rico Dowdle, Brookston, and maybe Chuba also. So I think that's the plan of action, no matter how he plays, is give him another year. Simple.
I agree.
If he balls out, pay him. If he doesn't, then you move on.
And I like that you made those analogies, man. I always talk about Alex Smith, man. Alex was bad for a number of years in San Francisco, and then they got Jim Harbaugh, and everything turned around, right? I think this is going to be more because that situation was a little bit different because Alex, this was when I talk about this from time to time, but I don't like to, kind of put this out there. So my brother actually spent a very small amount of time. My brother is he's technically my first cousin, but we've called each other brothers since we were like, this big. So I always refer to him as my brother. As a matter of fact, my boy Dylan from FPFO, he knows some of my family, the McDowells, but he had a cup of coffee, in the NFL for the St. Louis Rams when they were in St. Louis. And this was the year that they had drafted Bradford, right? And so this was when they were still paying quarterbacks like, max contracts, like right out the gate.
Yeah.
You know what
right
I'm saying?
out the league, yeah.
Yeah. So like with Alex, you ain't have a choice but to stick with him, right? But man, how beautiful did that work out for the Niners being able to build a blueprint back to success, because they went 12-4 with Alex. And then obviously, they needed more, what we say, need more juice on the offense or whatever. So they draft Kaepernick, Kaepernick in the same draft as Cam Newton, and Kaepernick ends up getting a start to injury to Alex Smith. And it's just like, oh yeah, we can't go back to this. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way we can go back. So yeah, with me, I feel like the Bryce Young thing can be either one or two things. I think it can be that, where like Dave's like, okay, he's playing better. You want to see it continue to grow, but maybe there's a ceiling. You know what I'm saying? Now, I think a little different based on last week, but hey, it is what it is. But there may be a ceiling. And, maybe it's another guideline in the wait. So it could either be the Alex Smith to the transition to someone else. I personally believe it's more, and I'm going way, way back here. I think it's more Chuck Noll to Terry Bradshaw, where it's like, because Chuck Noll benched Terry Bradshaw. People forget that, right?
Yeah.
And for Joe Gilliam, right? And so you go all the way back to that, and Chuck's like, I know this guy's got talent, but one, he's a country goofball, and two, he cannot see the field to save his life. But I'm going to slow him down, brought him back, and the rest is history. But it did fracture that relationship because Terry Bradshaw and Chuck Noll, Terry Bradshaw don't have a good relationship with the Steelers, period, right? But, and a lot of this is because he's so outspoken. But the point is that it eventually evolved into that point. Now, with the rookie contracts now, you're in a little bit different of a situation than you were back then compared to now. But no, to answer your question, Steve-O, I do not think if we don't make the playoffs, I mean, if we go, buddy, you win 2 more games and you've won more games, you throw a couple of more, well, I can say this already. He's already thrown more touchdowns this year and last year, in 2 consecutive years than any quarterback we had, right? Because like people, the Teddy Bridgewater situation, yes, we had 4 players go for almost 1,000 yards from scrimmage. Teddy threw 9 touchdowns. 9. You know what I'm saying? So you've already kind of beat that out. You're going to beat out the record because nobody's won more than 7 games since Sam was, starting here. So you win this game and 1 more, you in there, bro. Because you,
here's the thing. Go ahead. Finish your point. Because I got a thing that you made me think of.
At the worst, you go 8-9. Now you go.
So we talked about the is there a ceiling to this? Or you talked about is there a ceiling to this, and that's when you move on. I'm waiting to get this off, and I'm glad I'm on your show to get this off.
Go ahead.
There is these bust talks. There's this limitations talk. There's all this stuff. And to me, you don't show certain flashes if you're a bust, you're not good, or you're just a low ceiling player. Every single year there has been some flash. I went to that Green Bay game his rookie year. That was one of the best quarterback games in that season.
Yep.
That's 1 year. That was in that 2-14, staff got fired. We done learned 6 different offenses this whole time, and he still flashed in. That next year, I went to that Atlanta game at the end of the season last year. That Chiefs game, the Philly game, even though the counting stats weren't great, he still played a great quarterback game. That Chiefs game and that Atlanta game was 2 of the best quarterback games in that season of all quarterbacks. It's 2 years in a row. And now we come into last week, probably top 5 quarterback performances, quarterback games this season. You don't do that. If you're such a low ceiling or limited player, you're not going to have those flashes. There will be flashes. But it's not going to be that. Now we just got to find a middle ground so he can play, because he's not going to do that every week, of course. No quarterback does.
Right.
But you find that middle ground to be good enough that when those flashes pop out, now you're in different conversations.
Yes. And that's fascinating, man, because I think the same thing, man. You talked about it. I'm going to tell you, with me, it's, yes, the games, but sometimes it's also certain throws, right? There's just certain throws you make, which is like, like Cap talked about him throwing a 7 cut. You know what I'm saying? He threw a 7 cut, and he was like, against Kansas City, he was like, oh my gosh. You know what I'm saying? Like, because he was out on him too, and he was like, man, he saw that. He was like, oh wow. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
Or for me, it was literally blindfolded, throwing across to Adam Thielen in anticipation. And I mean, the ball came out and it was just like sitting there, and Adam was running full speed and just grabbed it. Like it's like on a rope. It just grabbed and took off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're talking about a guy that is probably the slowest possession receiver in the NFL to be able to do that. And I mean, and I was like, oh my gosh, like against Miami. And I saw that and I was like, and this was his rookie season. And I'm like, oh yeah, this guy. It might take him some time because he's a wee fella, you know what I'm saying? But it might take him a little bit of time. But boy,
it's gonna get there, dog. You don't do these. It's not stated enough. It's stated, but it's not stated enough to actually resonate in what it means to lead the league since you've been drafted, especially in the position he's been drafted in, to lead the league in game-winning drives. Not to be tied for the lead, not to be third and you're tied or you're one behind this person, to be the first, the number one guy over Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Matthew Stafford, Aaron Rodgers, to be better or not, to have more game-winning drives than all those guys. It's not stated. You don't do that as a bust. You don't do that as a limited player.
I couldn't agree more. And I'll take it a step further because this will tie into the super chat that we've got from Nervash. Shout out to Nervash for the $5 super chat. Said most of us know he can be very good, but I need to see it consistently. Why do we have to wait until the half of the season is over for him to ball? I see it two ways. I see on one hand, you've got a dichotomy, 6'7". Again, we're back. You've got a dichotomy of, hey man, this run is going really well. Let's stick with it. Oh dang, it's not working. Hey man, let's but still trying to be bullish with the run. What did Dave Canales like to say? I'm going to be overcommitted. Or he said something specific.
Yeah, it was something along those lines.
Yeah, when he first got hired, right? But to have that kind of bullish mentality with the run. Newsflash: last week showed you. The Green Bay game showed you. Last couple of games last week showed you. We are a passing team.
Facts.
And the only way that you will see it consistently is if they call it consistently.
Facts. And here's the thing, and to add on to that, shout out to Nervash for the super chat. To add on to that, I think the reason that we know he can do that, but we need to see it consistently. I think the reason you don't see it consistently is, one, young quarterbacks don't know what they're looking at. You talk to guys like Tom Brady, they talk about how seasoned they were to where they've seen every coverage, so they have every answer. Bryce is still learning the answers, but not only that, you don't have a seasoned coach. Dave Canales called play. This is his third year calling plays. The amount of time that Bryce Young has been in the NFL is the amount of time that Dave Young has called plays. I said Dave Young. Dave Canales has called plays at any level, period. So he's still learning answers. He's still learning how to balance out the run with the pass, how to balance out, hey, when we call these, when we are pass heavy, when we can be run heavy. He's learning as well, so it just shows you. I think it was Dan Orlovsky who said it on ESPN, sometimes young teams just got to learn how to win.
Yep.
It's the same thing when it comes to coaches. They got to learn how to win. They got to learn how to call the game. Dave Canales is learning at the same time Bryce Young is. So that's why we see so much inconsistency.
I couldn't agree more. And, I'll break the fourth wall here for a second because he said, Panthers for Life said, some podcasts will never see what y'all see in Bryce. It's sickening. You have some people complaining because his wide receivers got yacked last week. I don't know who that is. I do watch a lot of y'all. I'm not even gonna lie. I be sitting here capping to say that I don't, because I'm a fan of the space. You know what I'm saying? I watch a lot of podcasts. Obviously, I do my own podcast, do my own show, whatever, right? One of the guys I have on right now, the Real Ball Watcher. If you're not following him, I'll link his channel in the description. He is one of the best follows on this platform. He is extremely knowledgeable. He is unbiased, psych, but he knows ball more than anything else, except for one guy, right? Psych. And unfortunately, I'm putting the label on him, right? So if you're gonna shoot at somebody, shoot at your boy, right? But the point is that, I don't speak for what anybody else says, because here's one thing I'll say. I never will forget. I had someone, I live in a city where Jesse Jackson is, and he's been sick, recently, and hopefully he gets better. But someone that I'm close to, I don't talk politics. I very rarely talk politics, but I'll just say this one thing. Someone didn't necessarily like the side that he votes on, right? And I can remember them having a problem with the fact that he was crying when Barack Obama got elected president, right? And they were like, hey, I just think that's foolish, blah, 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 whatever. It's showmanship because the camera was there. No, it was real tears. Why was it real tears? Because for anything that you can say about Jesse Jackson and what he was politically or who he was affiliated with or anything else, he was there when Dr. King got shot. You know what I'm saying? He was there during all the, protests and all the stuff. He was in the fight. You know what I'm saying? So the last thing I would do is let somebody who wasn't tell me that he don't deserve, to have those emotions. So let's circle that back to Panther Podcast, because look, I know it's podcasters out there that shoot at me. I could care less. Put a name on the bullet. Because I know I got the ether. Y'all ain't really seen what I really can do with this button. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I can look, what I do with the content. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I do with the jokes. You don't want that. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I got stuff that I archive just in case. You know what I'm saying? So if you ever choose to put the name on the bullet, just know it's going to get ugly. You know what I'm saying? To a certain point. But the point I'm making is this.
I'm jumping in on that. Facts. Because a lot of y'all have the gall to speak like we know what we talking about. And y'all don't. Now, I'm not like my guy. I kind of keep it reserved, keep it cool, keep it calm. But I see y'all. I just want y'all to know I see y'all. Just like Hove might not respond to everybody, but he see everything. I see what y'all say. I see what y'all do. Y'all work ain't as good as mine. Y'all don't know what y'all talking about. So let's keep it cute. Let's keep it cute. You feel me? We love Bryce, all that. I'm a Glazer. That's cool. But let's keep it cute. We know what the difference is between the two of us.
We know what time it is. You said it. What I say, it's a Hove line for everything. Do not bark up that tree. That tree will fall on you.
That tree will fall on you, man. I'm telling you. Please, let's not do it. That's facts. That's facts. All right. We chilling now. Look,
leave it alone. They
got us out of character. You feel me?
But here's what I will say. And this is where I'll shoot any podcaster bell. Because at the end of the day, I don't manufacture smoke. If it comes my way, it'll be because of something you said. But trust me, I'm with the ish. The point is, though, is this. I have a compassionate heart for those. Here's why I do. Because if you've woken up, and this is, I know we make jokes about Meow Mix, but this is real talk. This is real spill. If you've been a fan of this team for as long as some of us have, right? I've been a fan of this team since 2003, personally, right? And I was a young guy. My co-host, Brad, is the reason that I'm a fan of the Panthers, which is why it was only right that eventually we link and now the chemistry's there, right?
Yeah.
To see what this team has become from what it was, I know we might not have been a consistent quote-unquote team that wins, back-to-back seasons, but we've been to 2 Super Bowls. We've been to multiple NFC championship games, you know what I'm saying, and playoff appearances for a team who isn't a big market. I seen Steve Smith talking on the pivot earlier. Channing was giving him a hard time about why he never left Carolina, right? And he's like, well, part of it is I was scared. Part of it is because I loved it. And then I also got paid, right? So thanks Steve Smith for, sticking around. But the point is that we've got some all-time players, you know what I'm saying, in the NFL, right? We got all-time players that exist. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So with that said, to see this team bounce your all-time leading quarterback out the door, and to lose so many different players, and to be this bad for this long, that's where my heart is compassionate for those who just like, man, some of them go overboard. You could say I go overboard with the love. They call it, the young folks call it glazing. Cool, I'm a glazer, right? I'm about to, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's like, dog, I understand. Y'all just want to win. You know what I'm saying? So if it don't look like if it look inconsistent, if you go through all the offseason, and look, I've said it, the Carolina Panthers, they don't show a ton of love to the content creators, not like I think they should. And shout out to you and many others who were on the blueprint, but boy, they can drive the propaganda machine. They make you believe every year, them blueprints, you know what I'm saying? They drive the propaganda machine. I hope y'all hear it, because y'all do be biting sauce. I done seen y'all biting a lot of content creator sauce, including me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Talk about it.
But the thing is that that's the NFL, though. The NFL is the only league. It's the reason why it's so massive is because it literally, like, every year you've had teams that have been at the bottom of divisions that end up making the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So it's coming. But I can understand their heart in this, to a degree. Sometimes it get a little personal. That is what it is. But I feel them to a degree. I'll just say that.
Thanks. Shout out Nerve Ash in the chat. We not gonna start the pod wars. We not gonna do it, man. We just letting them know.
Yeah.
That the smoke is there if they wanted to blow. That's all we saying. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, ain't no pod wars. Because I mean the way this is how I see it, right? I ain't really about to pop ish at 11 o'clock at night anymore. I'm really not going to, because people know me as a humble person, and I really am, man. But every night, Kenny said it on, when we had to, tap Drake. Sometimes you got to pop out, you know what I'm saying? So
sometimes you got to show.
Yeah, but I'll just say this: it's never. To me, it's never. It don't need to be that. There's enough of that exists in this space. You know what I'm saying? I think you do. One of the things that I know that people enjoy about my content is that I don't engage in some of the conversations that I could engage with. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I wanted to do something like this, like Ball Don't Lie, because we can talk. If I may, one of the most frustrating things that I hear is I'll have people in my chats. I'll listen to other shows and hear people talking and, discoursing amongst each other. And for the little that I know about film, I'll hear some things and I'm just like, what? You using that to justify your point? Bro, that don't even make logical sense. But you don't care about context, because what Charlamagne say, don't nobody care about the truth when the lie's more entertaining. You know what I'm saying? So context don't matter. That's why we had to have the real ball watcher on the show tonight.
Yeah, that's why I say that's why I made it a point to say I see it all, but I let y'all rock, because y'all really be looking crazy. For the people that watch y'all, they might not know what they looking at, so they go on it. Okay, yeah, this must be right. But the people that know, you look crazy saying some of the stuff that y'all say. Yeah, that's all I can say. That's all. I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there.
All right, man. So this has been fun, man. But I want to one last thing. Score, because there was a lot that we could have got to. But I think
we got to do part 2. We got to do part 2.
We do soon. But give me your score prediction for Monday night, man. What do you think is gonna happen? Do we walk away with the dub?
I think it's gonna be high scoring on both ends. One, like we already talked about, their defense, not their defense. It's not what it used to be. A lot of injuries, a lot of guys missing. But not for nothing, our defense has been pretty solid, but they match up perfectly to expose the holes in our defense. Kittle, we ain't guarded the tight end all year. Somebody posted the other day, Lathan Ransom has allowed the most receptions in the NFL at his position. What I want to say it was like 38 or something like that. Kittle's probably going to eat. Rosewoom's already out. It didn't matter if Rosewoom played. CMC is going to eat. So I got it being 30 to. I'm gonna say 30 to 27. I'm gonna say we get another game on the drive. Fitz put it through the uprights after a crazy Bryce player. However, we get down there and we get that dub. It's probably gonna be a close game, but it's definitely gonna be high scoring for sure.
I like it. I like you think we win. I do think it'll be a little bit different outcome though, because I do think that their rush defense is vulnerable, right? If you can't pressure the quarterback, then you struggle in the run game too. You know what I'm saying? Like it goes hand in hand. So I think that you're going to see Rico probably early and often. I would like to see some play action shots. I do think that, you get some play action opportunities with T-Mac one-on-one. I like what I'm saying. This Xavier Legette confidence boost from last game could really come back to be a huge dividend in this game. I think it's probably going to be a little bit lower scoring affair, and I think that's because Dave is going to do his best job of recreating what they did in Green Bay and San Francisco. It's like smash mouth as much as we can, move the ball as much as we can passing the ball, but try to control the line of scrimmage, try to control the clock, you know what I'm saying? Like keep their offense off the field as much as possible, you know what I'm saying? But then again, hey, if Bryce start feeling it and he start ripping it, especially because the one thing with Brock Purdy will force some throws that I think, guys like JC and, some of your nickel guys will have opportunities at, you know what I'm saying? And so that could be really interesting. I'll tell you another thing that I'm really, really fascinated to watch. Little bit different story on how it happened, right? When it happened for Zach Bond up in Philly, because Zach was in New Orleans, right? And Zach was more of an edge guy that they moved to off ball, and he just went crazy. I'm fascinated to see this Claudin Chairless thing, because in the second half of that game, I start wondering. I'm like, could we have found a little bit of a diamond? You know what I'm saying? Like,
in the rough.
Yeah, man. Because there was some times last year, like, where him and Trevin got some opportunities in the preseason and in regular season. I like what I saw, and this was before Trevin became this year's Trevin, green dot Trevin. A little bit more understanding of the of his position, Trevin. I'm fascinated to see what that looks like, man. With Claudin Chairless.
I'm not mad. He played pretty good in the preseason too. I mean, he's we know one thing about Dan. He gonna find somebody that shouldn't have been playing, and they gonna figure out that they a star. I mean, we've seen it with Coker. Corey Thornton is obviously showing it. Hell, Damani Richardson doesn't play as much this year, but when he stepped in last year, he looked pretty good. So I could see it for sure. I could definitely see that being the case. And it takes a little minute for linebackers to get going anyway. So I could see that happening.
Yeah. So, well, man, look, any parting words? This has been an absolute pleasure to have you on, man.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you having me on. Like I said, I talked about it before we came on the show, but you probably show me more love than anybody else in this space, in any space period. So whenever you need me, hit me. I don't care if it's 4 times a week. If I got the availability, I'm willing to hop on. It's been a blast. We took an hour and a half show in about 6 hours. I feel like everybody watching is watching what is it, Jackson 5 American Dream right now. But that just shows how much we love the content. You feel me?
Yeah.
How much we love football, how much chemistry we got. I appreciate you having me on. Everybody go sub to the Real Ball Watcher. Everybody sub here. Let's intermingle communities. Get everybody locked in.
Y'all heard him, man. Shout out to my boy Lo. That's my dog, my brother, right? I don't know if you know Lo. Lo, pregame podcast. Yeah.
I didn't realize that was him in the chat this whole time.
Look,
shout out my boy Lo.
I talk to Lo at least, usually once a day. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my brother for real. But man, listen, y'all heard him. We got it on tape. So when Bleacher Report and Barstool and ESPN or whoever else come hit up Real Ball Watcher, he said, yo, One Carolina, when you need me, I'm there. So I'm gonna be like, hey, bro, time to cash that check. That's gonna be, hey, Master P put 50 on his tour first, and he was like, man, I appreciate that. P said, hey, man, look here, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you did.
Me to it,
yeah, man.
Me to it, for sure.
All right, man. Look, we appreciate y'all so much. This has been Volume 1 of Ball Don't Lie. The ball does not lie. Men lie, women lie, but the numbers and the ball never does. And we got the Real Ball Watcher, man. So until next time, we appreciate y'all. Hit the like button, subscribe button, and bell notification so you never miss a video. And until then, keep pounding.
Keep pounding, y'all.